country. Now, this investment is the first in an expected multi-year commitment by Fuel to create a scholarship program that will increase Louisiana residents' access to high-wage, high-demand jobs in the state's growing energy sector. A gas leak along Bluebonnet Boulevard near the Mall of Louisiana shut down traffic for about 2 hours yesterday. The St. George Fire Department said around 11:45 a.m. westbound lanes of Bluebonnet between 10 and Picardy had been blocked off due to a gas leak. Around 1:45, Delta Utilities gave the all clear. SpaceX founder Elon Musk's private jet spent a few hours in Lafayette yesterday. This according to posts on Blue Sky. His plane left from Austin, Texas, landed in Lafayette around 2:30, then took off shortly before 5 p.m. No word if Elon was actually on the plane or not, but his plane was in the state. We'll talk about that a little bit more coming up at 6:25. As I led with this morning, Skip Bertman, head coach of 5 Tiger National Championship baseball teams and the former athletic director, has passed away at 88 years old, along with the 5 national championships, 7 SEC titles, just 18 seasons at the helm of the baseball program, and an absolute legend across the board. Hunt Palmer's got a great write-up already over at LouisianaSports.net if you wanted to go check that out. I mean, all the major news outlets are reporting at least something here. WBRZ has it up. WAFB has it up. I am not seeing anything from the Advocate yet, but I'm sure that won't be long there as well. But if you want to read Hunt's piece, talk about the legend that was Skip Bertman, you'll find it at LouisianaSports.net. What you got, Wilton?
All right, we'll starting you off this morning. We got 6 straight days of rain, causing a lot of flash flooding throughout Indiana. People have been evacuating their homes, and so far, at least 1 death has been reported.
A 4-year-old. Yeah, the flooding uprooted a tree falls on house and kills poor 4-year-old. And officials are saying they're expecting a lot more. They're expecting that death toll to rise for sure.
I had seen this at the beginning, but I didn't realize how bad it was.
Yeah.
Flock Safety says they're making changes to their license plate readers to make it harder for law enforcement to misuse technology.
I don't understand that at all. And first of all, a license plate reader reads a license plate. It's up to the law enforcement officer to use or misuse the technology. We had TJ Morrison, our Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morrison, here on Tuesday talking about exactly that. Like, we were talking about the use of Flock cameras. Flock is a name brand that has kind of become synonymous with all license plate readers and security cameras, kind of like, Kleenex is all facial tissue, it doesn't matter if it's from the brand Kleenex or not. So I don't know what Flock can do to make it different from their end.
Yeah, I don't know what could be done on the actual cameras. Maybe it's to do with like the computer interface and like the access that they're able to have to it.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I don't know, because read license plate, report license plate. That's their job. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond that, whether or not officers want the Flock camera to replace their police work is up to them. You still have to do police work. So,
adding on to Jaden Daniels not wanting anyone to wear his number 5, apparently he's also reached out to the university to get LSU's copy of his Heisman Trophy back as well.
So we're going to dip into this just a little bit at 6:35. I don't want to dip into it too much because it's such a childish story, the whole thing from start to finish. And now that it's pivoted to where apparently he's saying he did not send a C&D over his number. He sent a C&D over LSU using his likeness to promote the university. It's going from bad to worse. And so I don't want to get into it too much, but we can't not talk about it at the same time because it's kind of everywhere in town right now. So, no, you pound sand. LSU can keep the Heisman Trophy. You don't win the Heisman Trophy if you don't come to LSU. That's a two-way street, buddy.
Yeah, it seems immature. I'm not the biggest football fan or anything, but I heard about it and it seems kind of whiny, kind of pouty to me.
A little bit. Well, the thing is, his Instagram is that kid Jaden, and now he's acting like that child Jaden. So 611 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website for Landmark Bank. Landmark Bank was founded in 1897 as a community bank. Here in 2026, they remain a community bank. Unbelievable. We were talking about this with Dr. Strain yesterday, just how unbelievable it is to stay true to your mission for that long. To stay open for that long is amazing in and of itself. But to remain true to your mission, to not, because I mean, in business, you're either growing or dying, one of the two. And what Landmark Bank has done is found that groove where you are growing within yourself, but not beyond yourself. And that is a true testament to staying true to the mission. And when you're true to the mission, you're true to the community because they're a community bank. Personal banking, business banking, there are no limitations on what you could do with either at Landmark Bank. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. Coffee. .615 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. It is sports time. Saints are getting ready, y'all. They will take to the field tomorrow. I believe 3 p.m. is your kickoff as the Saints will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in game 1 of the preseason. We'll get you some preseason scores from last night in just a quick minute. But as we look ahead to what's coming with the Saints, former LSU Tiger receiver Barry Brown has been turning heads all training camp long. Just an absolute star of the training camp. When he was drafted late by the Saints, thought he'll make the team as a special teams player because of his speed, but he's been showing up and showing out at wide receiver as well. Receiver Chris Olave says Brown reminds him a lot of former Saints player Rashid Shaheed, cut 20.
They basically the same player, I ain't gonna lie. Barry remind me a lot of Sheed, because me and Sheed came in the same drive class, but just how he's attacking the game, he can stretch the field, but also he can run routes. So I'm super excited for him and his future.
So kickoff in the Dome tomorrow, 3 p.m. You will hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Preseason action was in full swing last night. There were 5 games on the slate. You had the Bengals. Bengals were a 16-14 winner over the Lions. Joe Burrow actually played the first series in that game. Went 5 of 6 on the night. Steelers were a 28-9 winner over the Packers. Colts and Patriots tied at 13 apiece. It was the Cardinals, a 27-14 winner over the Raiders. The Chargers were a 27-7 winner over the Texans, and the Titans posted up a 19-13 win over the 49ers. Your NFL action will continue tonight. I love it. I know it's preseason and you're not seeing the stars yet, but that's okay. 6 p.m. tonight, Broncos square off against the Falcons. The Bucs have the Jets. Dolphins will be at the Commanders. And then after that, it'll pick back up on Saturday with the rest of the NFL's slate. While we got a minute here before we get you to the Fox Business Report, I do want to remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. Highly, highly recommend just going, scrolling, and dreaming. Take a look at what David Duvall can do what David Duvall has done in other people's bathrooms, and then think about how it can apply to yours. The bottom line is if you didn't build your house, your bathroom wasn't built for you. If you didn't build your house, your closets weren't built for you either. If you want to maximize the space, modernize, upgrade, make the most of what you've got there, David Duvall's the answer. At OneBathAndClosets.com, you spell it out, O-N-E, OneBathAndClosets.com, or you can call them at 400-8005, 400-8005 for OneBathAndClosets.com. Give you the rundown for the rest of the show this morning. Rachel Fricke from Guaranty Health is going to be with us at 6:50. Give you the guest rundown, that is. Rachel Fricke from Guaranty Health is going to be with us at 6:50. Looking forward to that conversation. We were at the Business Report's Excellence in Healthcare Awards on Wednesday night, which just is an awesome nod to some of the unbelievable work done in our community. Got to see a number of great folks take home awards, and a number of folks who were finalists for awards who were more than deserving, to be sure. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit, and a little bit about how Guaranty Health can help your medical business. Wade Rousse at 7:15. Patty G will be in the house at 7:35. Tommy Faucheux from Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas at 8:15. And then Dearman's is in the house for Foodie Friday. Reuters.
Strong sales overseas, but not at home. Car sales in China fell by a fifth in July compared with a year ago. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Posola. Invested in you. You never know who might be taking the quiz. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. Hey everyone, it's Phil Sims. Hey everyone, it's Anna McKellar. It's Candace Bushnell. I'm Jeremiah Brown. Hey everyone, I'm Kix Brooks. I'm John Taffer. I'm Jennifer Eden. Everybody's Kevin Nealon. It's Mr. Wonderful here, and it's time to take the quiz. 5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at the quiz.com. I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And this truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 50 years in the timeshare cancellation is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of the timeshare. After 50 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today. Timeshare exit guide absolutely all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Tighten, look, and glow with our advanced skin treatments at Unique Aesthetics and Wellness.
Huh.
Look now at myuniqueaesthetics.com.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
All right, we got our normal volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish this morning. Starting off back around the Denham Springs on-ramp of the Range Avenue on-ramp onto 12. You'll just tap the brakes just a little bit before you get up to speed. You'll slow down a little bit again in between Millerville and Sherwood, and then you're good to go after that all the way through the split, all the way through the city after it merges with 10. 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great all the way through as well. Flipping things around to 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge, we're looking good, as is I-110, with one minor exception on 110. We are seeing we're starting to see a little bit more buildup around on 110 southbound by the Memorial Stadium curve right there. You'll find a little bit of buildup there. Also on your surface straights, that you be on the lookout for some pretty heavy volume on Airline northbound as you approach Greenwell Springs Road. Outside of that, we're looking good to start off your morning. Let's keep it that way. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Before we dive back in, let me remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is their website. IndustryMakes.org, a unified voice speaking up for the industry that not only creates the jobs we see up and down the river, but also the products we see, from the tires on our cars to the shoes on our feet to just about everything you would see inside of a hospital. I mean, life-saving equipment built out by the industries that we've got up and down the river. So it's a campaign born out of collaboration and a need to present that united industrial front in the face of coordinated anti-industrial messaging. You can learn more at industrymakes.org. So, you Landry 1 and 2 over there, Wilton? Okay, cool. We had it in top stories and trending, and I believe I got it from our news partners at WBRZ, that Elon Musk's private jet spent a few hours in Lafayette yesterday. Well, if you rewind the clock back to Monday, we had Governor Jeff Landry on the show, and I had a stack of topics to cover with him. One of those was SpaceX, and I knew he couldn't comment, and the governor did a great job of spending a good minute and a half per answer to not comment. But I asked him straight up on Monday, where are we at with the SpaceX project? In fact, I believe I'm at the beginning of cut 1. So let's just go ahead. We're seeing SpaceX or Elon Musk in the headlines as his plane was in Louisiana yesterday. Let's hear what the governor had to say on Monday about it. What's the latest with SpaceX? Because that was making its way through the headlines last week.
Well, here's the thing. I think to talk about the property of a million parish is, number one, to recognize that we have been plagued with litigation that has hampered the oil and gas industry now for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. And in 3 short years, we've put an end to legacy, okay, which People have debated, tried to do. No one's been able to do it. We hammered out an agreement. 30 years, we've done it. It's over. We had postal lawsuits that I'd been dealing with. I was dealing with when I got into office as the Attorney General, dealt with as Attorney General, dealing with as the governor. We have disposed of all of those suits except for one company. There's only one company left. We've come to resolutions with everyone. And that Vermilion piece dealt with Exxon. And I got to tell you, one of the greatest things about the resolution we came to with Exxon is that, and I've announced that, is that they are going to help fund the cleanup of abandoned well sites in the coastal zone. We've got like 1,088 different wells that basically right now the taxpayers of Louisiana are on the hook for. And Exxon is stepping up and saying, you know what, we're going to do our job and we're going to help y'all clean that up. We're going to get a big chunk of it done with that. And what's going to happen in Vermilion Parish, all I can tell you is they can't comment.
After a minute 13 with that answer, he says, can't comment. Well, the plane was in town or was in the state yesterday. So let's pick it up from there, though, because while he can't comment on what's going on, he can't have a want for where he wants to see the state going on this front. And there was a follow-up question as to, desire, not stepping around what is and is not, disclosable at this time. Where do you want to see us headed? Cut to.
And let's think about this. What would Louisiana look like if we would have landed NASA? Okay, if we would have closed the deal on Disney World, right? Which that's where Walt Disney wanted to come. He wanted to come to Louisiana first. Like, what would our state have looked like today versus what Florida looks like? And so that's what we're positioning Louisiana for. We're positioning Louisiana for success. So whether it's SpaceX or Meta or Amazon or, any of the other companies out there, big or small, that are looking to onshore manufacturing, Hyundai Steel, right? It could be U.S. Steel. It could be Boeing. It could be, the sky is the limit. Right now in boardrooms across America, Louisiana is being talked about. That is something that has not happened before. Or if it has, it's been a long, long time. And they're talking about it in a positive light rather than a negative connotation. And with all of that, it absolutely comes with challenges. And we're ready to meet those particular challenges because I think our people are ready to succeed.
So that's what the governor had to say back on Monday. Now, this kind of walks hand in hand with a separate announcement that came down. I don't want to say recently, but because it was this year. But I'm looking at the clock, and there's not enough time to get into this. I tell you what we're gonna do here. Let's just go ahead and pause for news, traffic, and weather. We're going to talk about the Jaden Daniels thing in our next segment. I honestly don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. So in order to be fair and stay on time with the clock, let's break it now where we're supposed to. We got a hard break coming up in 8 seconds. So we'll pick this conversation back up right after this. Here's ABC News on Talk 107.3 FM. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, Boo. And who else is in the chat this morning? Start telling Skip Burtman stories, y'all.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Still looking at an accident on Range and Leslie. That's a few blocks south of Denham Springs High School. Traffic remains on the heavy side.
Carol says he began cooking cartoons yesterday. I don't know what that means. Is it like an inside lingo that... What does cooking cartoons mean? Oh, is that what it says on your end? Okay, it says cooking over here. I guess I don't get the edits if he edited it. Well, good. That'd be a good little outlet for you. I like that. Use your creativity. Troy says if we start telling Skip Burtman stories, we'll be here a while. Yeah, no, I know. That's why he's such a legend. He was at a speech. He's talking about the oak trees on campus, and he was talking about himself by saying, he says, I forget how the speech was almost 20 years ago. He's like, I'm coming up on 70 years old, and I'm reminded that 70 is not very old if you're a tree. He had a much more pregnant pause in the middle to make the delivery so much better, but oh my God. Brought the house down. 70's not very old if you're a tree. Galen says, since we're playing what ifs, what if Louisiana could have gotten the Mercedes assembly plant that Alabama was awarded in the 90s? Since then, several other manufacturers has opened assembly plants nearby. Wonderful jobs missed out on. Yes, and that's why we brag on all the wonderful work that the legislature has recently done, setting the table for that. But that is so. Well, here's a follow up though, Galen. If we got the car manufacturing jobs also many years ago, we don't get Meta because that land wouldn't have been available anymore. It's the same plot of land. How about that? How about what if Delta had never moved away from Monroe? 637, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. When we broke just a little while ago, and I realized mornings are very, very busy, so you might just be tuning in. We were talking about the possibility of SpaceX coming to Louisiana, because in our top stories this morning, we had a story from our news partners at WBRZ about Elon Musk's plane was at the Lafayette airport yesterday for a few hours. Flew in from Austin, flew back, flew in from Austin around 2 o'clock, landed around 2:30, I should say, and then flew back a little bit after 5. Now, we don't know if Elon was on the plane or not, if it was just his people, what the deal was, but we do know that SpaceX is eyeing up an area in Vermilion Parish around Pecan Island to build out, it's a pretty significant investment into the state of Louisiana that would provide some pretty significant jobs in the state of Louisiana. I'm hesitant to say to dive into this because it's all speculation, right? Until SpaceX actually says something. But I can't help but go back to a couple of months ago. There was a news story that was very, very undersold, very, very underrated, did not make a whole lot of headlines at the time. But if you go to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development's website, you can, or the quickest way to get there is by Googling Liftoff Louisiana. That's what I did. And there was a story back in March, and I'm just going to read you the press release from DOTD. The headline of the press release says, DOTD selected to participate in new federal aviation pilot program. The Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development today, March 11th, announced that they had been selected to participate in a new federal pilot program designed to help safely introduce next-generation aircraft into communities across the country. Led by the FAA, the program will test and evaluate emerging aircraft technologies, including electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, sometimes described as air taxis, as well as other advanced aviation systems. The goal is to ensure these new technologies are introduced safely, responsibly, and in a way that benefits the public. DOT's proposal, Liftoff Louisiana, received support from Governor Jeff Landry, state lawmakers, and Louisiana's congressional delegation, reflecting broad statewide support for safe and innovative aviation. While the proposal outlines initial operations that are concentrated at the Houma Terrebonne Airport, the program extends across the entire state and is anchored in a comprehensive public-private partnership to deliver real-world data and operational experience to the FAA's pilot program. Now I'm going to stop right there because the rest of the press release is predominantly quotes praising Liftoff Louisiana and praising being one of 8 sites around the country to, pardon the pun, pilot the program. But I'm going to pause right there because I can't help but think that in some form or fashion, this announcement back in March is going to aid us or help us in landing, us meaning Louisiana, in landing space, pun again, in landing SpaceX in Vermilion Parish. Now, while the base of operations is the Houma Terrebonne Airport for that, it does say, the press release did say, throughout the rest of Louisiana, right? Well, what does that mean for Elon Musk's purposes with SpaceX? Air taxis, what does that mean? How high up are we going? Are we talking about all the way into space? Are we talking about George Jetson's car? Where along the whole scope is that? Electric liftoff? What are we talking about on that front? When we had State Representative Paul Sawyer in a couple days ago talking about drones and how the idea of a manned drone is not too far off. Being able to take a drone from home to work is not too far off. I can't help but wonder if all of this is wrapped up together. Now, again, 100% speculation. But when you take March's announcement, when you take the efforts towards SpaceX, when you take the idea that we are going to be on the forefront for things lifting off from the ground vertically, as opposed to the old school planes and whatnot, think about that. If you're in the marsh, if you're around Pecan Island, I mean, launching rockets into space is going to happen vertically anyway, but you kind of don't want to have the big runways and whatnot. So anyway, I look at those two things combined, and I can't help but wonder if somehow they're connected. Like I said, just speculating. I will tell you this, though. If they are connected, DOTD, it's time to get your butt on to finishing I-49. From Lafayette to New Orleans. I-49, or turning Highway 90, upgrading Highway 90 into the extension of I-49. That would be the biggest project on DOTD's, bigger than our bridge for sure. I want our bridge so bad. But how quickly would that take precedence if this were to play out that way? If you land SpaceX in Vermilion Parish and liftoff Louisiana continues to grow in Houma, you're talking about needing I-49 to get from point A to point B. You know, leaving New Iberia, get you to Thibodaux, and then you break off and go back down to Houma from there. That would suck for us to be the back burner again. But nonetheless, it very well could spell a number of different things, out for us on a very, very positive economic development front. And I'm looking forward to all of it. All right, we are at. Do what? Okay, we do have enough time. All right. .643 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Getting back to the Jaden Daniels story that I didn't really want to talk about. But as far as cornerback DJ Pickett, you just heard this in our news at the bottom of the hour. He's got no plans of relinquishing the number 5 jersey. The Advocates' Koki Riley spoke with Pickett's father, says if anybody's backing down, it's going to be the Daniels camp. You heard this cut a second ago. Let's hear it again, cut 7.
If anything, I think their heels are even more dug in on this. That's what his father told me, at least. And they really don't have a reason to back down. It seems like LSU is fully behind them on this whole thing.
This is a story that I'm just not going to understand from start to finish. Now, the way the story evolved yesterday was it got away from just the jersey number thing. And it got more involved into the idea that Jaden Daniels was looking for LSU to stop cashing in on his fame. That's kind of the way that I read this. You tell me if you're hearing this the same way, okay? Where the hell did it go? Here we go. I'm grabbing this from Preston Guy on Twitter. Preston Guy is with, who is he with? He's associate editor for LSU football and recruiting at tigerbait.com. And he tweeted last night, and a number of other outlets have followed along suit. Jaden Daniels has, capital letters, not asked LSU to return the Heisman Trophy, and the cease and desist letter was not filed in response to DJ Pickett wearing the number 5, but rather in an attempt to be compensated for use of his name, image, and likeness per sources. Now, I don't know if he was the first one to report it, but he was the first one that popped up in my Twitter feed where I saw it. So I started looking into it from there. And I can't find a comp here where Jaden Daniels would have a leg to stand on. LSU promoting his name, image, and likeness has 100% to do with the fact that LSU advanced him. He's not where he is today without LSU. Contractually, I can't fathom a scenario where he would have a leg to stand on in court. Like nothing would have been written into any paperwork, into any contract. In fact, if it was anything, it would be the other way around, where LSU had it written in that once you sign with us, your name, image, and likeness can be promoted by us. I mean, that's a two-way street. Yeah, he gets paid by Powerade, but he gets paid by Powerade to wear the purple and gold. So, it's going to be messy and it's going to be childish and the whole thing's not going to make sense. And I'm just glad that it's happening now and not the first week of September, because LSU will kick off against Clemson on September 5th, provided Jaden Daniels allows us to use the 5th day of the month. We're coming up on 547 at Talk 107.3 FM. That was a long way to go for him. All right. Coming up on 547 at Talk 107.3 FM. We'll take a quick break. We'll check traffic. We'll check your money now. Rachel Fricke from Guaranty Health is going to join us next. Don't forget Dr. Wade Rousse at 7:15. Coming back after this. Oh, thank you. Good morning. I'm Fenton. You do what? Well, get on in here. Yeah.
No, I haven't mentioned, but I've heard Brian mention you multiple times on it.
It's nice to meet you.
So when it was time for me to buy my own place, I didn't want guesswork. I wanted folks that knew land. That's why I went with First South. They've been financing rural land for generations, and they made the whole process simple. Straight shooters, competitive rates, and they build a loan around what you need. So whether it's a few acres or a big spread, make First South your first call. Get right by me, and they'll do right by you. Relief Windows.
Go, Mike,
Experience,
please.
quality, and service.
My apologies, y'all. We're going to get to your money now in about 15 seconds. Not sure what happened there. I think the computer might have jumped the gun on us a little bit because I don't know what that content was you were hearing. So we ended up, the break ended up just a little bit short. Here is your money now. There we go. That was weird. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Top stories and trending and be coming your way right after ABC News at the top of the hour, of course, leading off the morning. And we're not going to let the morning get too far without a reminder. LSU legend, legendary head coach, athletic director, 5-time national champion Skip Bertman passed away overnight. We'll have more on that coming up at the top of the hour. Right now, though, it's time to redirect our attention back in studio. Rachel Fricke with Guaranty Health is with us. How are you this morning?
I couldn't be better, Brian. Thank you for having me.
No, glad to have you in this morning. Normally, this is over the phone.
Yes.
So you actually braved getting all the way down to the studio for before the sun's fully up.
All the way from Ascension. I did.
What?
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Every once in a while, I think it's important to get back because I do the 60-second spot for Guaranty Health every morning. But let's get back to the core of what Guaranty Health Solutions actually is. Who are y'all and what do you do?
Great question, Brian. We are a little bit different in our model. So when I say that, it's typically what organizations do. You'll see consultants work with healthcare organizations. They typically walk in and tell you what to do, right? So what we do is we don't look at ourselves as consultants. We're a partner. And the way we work is we really embed ourselves with your organization. So we become an expert, meaning I could walk into your practice and help you run it. And after we work with your teams, we interview your leadership team. We really understand your core services, your model, your mission, your vision, your values. So once we get through that assessment, partnership, setup phase, we could walk in and we're representing your practice as you expect your team members to. We really become one with your organization.
How translatable is that out in public? Because normally when you look at the C-suites, a lot of that would quote unquote fall under, but it's not exactly that. It's the mortar between the bricks of the C-suite offices.
It's true. And we actually operate as a fractional C-suite member. So when I say that is we come in as your COO, whatever gap you're experiencing, right? So marketing, you need a chief marketing officer, you need a chief strategy officer, operations officer. We really become that. And another thing I love about our business is that we are not a copy paste business. Healthcare should be intentional and not transactional, right? So when we partner with these organizations, we build models that are built, customized to that practice.
Right.
It's really
well. But at the same time, though, as you build, there's a little copy. Once you start building out, it's not copy and paste, but find things that are applicable.
Yes, absolutely. Look, clinical outcomes, safety, compliance, those are all things that will stay the same. But who you are as how are you representing your brand? How are we communicating with patients and team members? I think, let me call that out real quick, Brian, is that whenever we come into your organization, anything that we build to improve the patient experience, at this exact same time, we're looking at it through the lens of the team member experience as well. Because I'm going to make you a promise. If your organization is building better practices for your patients, patient experience, anything, service line development, anything like that, if you're not focused 100% on the team member experience and that delivery model and how you want them to execute it and sustain it, if you're not building it at the same time, it will fall. Now,
how does coordinating the team members translate to better patient outcome?
It's everything, right? So if you don't have look, I love what we do, but sometimes the best minds in your practice on how to fix it or make improvements, it's right there with your team members. And so what we do is we'll bring team members to the table with us. They're in the field, they're the experts. And so we really give them a seat at the table and help us build it.
Let's go back to those C-suites for just a minute, because that's when you look at an organizational chart, you'll have a COO, a CFO, a CMO. You're never going to have a CHO, a chief hospitality officer. That's not a title. That's not a thing. And you're not going to have a chief connecting officer either to make sure those other C-suites are conjoined. I think that's where, if you think of and I know we're on radio, so the visual might not be there, but think of the organizational chart. And once you get in between, you can connect the dots.
Yes. And that's exactly what we do. So we do executive workshops and we'll actually meet with the C-suite, and we'll go through and identify any gaps. Exactly what you're saying. If and a common title could be Chief Experience Officer.
Okay.
It's there. It is there. I love that you mentioned hospitality. That might be a something we add to our little our list there. But it's so important.
Well, that's where it all got started, though, and
It
I think we
did.
talked about this the very first
Yeah.
time you came on. But this got started with a personal experience that was so just sterile and transactional.
Raw.
Yeah,
Yes.
raw.
Yeah, just
And
absolutely.
it shouldn't be like that, because oftentimes when you are in a medical office, you're not in a good way.
No, and look, every day, what's interesting is all of us, your listeners, yourself, we all go through these vulnerable moments in our lives that really shape our lives, where it's with a loved one or ourselves. I'd love to give you a quick example of, do we have time?
Minute and a half.
You
Go for
got it. So recently, I'm always looking for ways to improve healthcare. Recently, a family member who has Alzheimer's was having surgery, and nutrition came in. This is someone who can't remember when she last ate. She just knows she's hungry, things like that. Diet nutrition walk in, and they say, okay, when's the last time you ate? Well, it set off a trigger for her. So when I'm sharing this to tell you, intentionality in healthcare, we need to start treating patients as human beings and individuals, and get away from the medical record numbers, right? Get away from the systems. And so we teach organizations how to treat these individual patients as each person is their own person and needs their own customized care and communication. And so that's an important example.
Less than a minute to go. Where can folks go to find Guaranty Health?
www.guaranteehealth.com, or you can call me personally at 225-290-7534.
And wait, so we do have enough time. Is this, because I always say it doesn't matter the size of the office, the scope of the office. If you're in the medical world, this will apply somehow. So are there restrictions within, from a full hospital campus to a primary care?
No, if you're serving patients, we will serve you, right? So we are working with health systems, FQHCs, urgent care centers. We work with metabolic wellness centers. So if you're serving patients, we can serve you.
She is Rachel Fricke with Guaranty Health. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. We're coming up on hour 2 is on the way. We're at 6:59, about to be 7 o'clock. So here comes ABC News on Talk 107.3 FM. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Well, and that's what I know. Kyron's a bit of perfectionist, isn't she?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
No.
But like, I've been asking her, but nudging, just can we do just non-scripted, so y'all can talk from the heart, because you know what you're doing. You know your shit.
Right.
So
I love it. So we'll keep doing it.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was nice to meet you.
Plus. So we're following up now, and we might actually be doing some more. So, and I don't have to worry about my exclusivity because I already do all the late. So like minutes help as well. So yeah, I think things that I'm going to turn into a little bit more. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I know. Let me know if you need help.
will do. Thank you. Troy says the whole drama seems more like something Mama Daniels would cook up. She seems to be the epitome of helicopter parenting. 1,000%. And there's no way this starts with anybody but her. We all remember what it was like before Jaden came here. Like she's a lot. Oh, you don't value my baby type of stuff. Troy says, Galen, most modern farm jobs are migrant workers anyway. All money they make is headed back home. You can't build an economy around that model. No, you can't, but you can feed the world. And I think building an economy and feeding the world don't have to be separate conversations. And we literally can't live without food. So got it. I mean, I'm not disputing, like I'm not arguing, but I'm just saying that has to be in the back of mind somewhere, right? I know I can afford to miss a few meals, but after a while you get hungry. Byron says, next generation aircraft because aliens. Yeah. So good. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Wilton producing. Busy hour this hour as the LSU president is going to be with us coming up about 10 minutes from right now. We've got Dr. Wade Rousse going to be. I'm not sure if he's in studio or on the phone. But we do have Wade Rousse coming up. Dr. Rousse will be with us at 7:15, which means we need to move quickly. Let's get to top stories and trending. More than 20 living quarters on LSU's campus will be open this weekend for roughly 7,000 incoming freshmen. The biggest change for move-in day this year is going to be traffic flow. Instead of entering off of River Road, students are going to come in on Gurrier to get to their assigned housing. This is one of the topics we'll be covering next segment with Dr. Rousse. Future use of energy in Louisiana, a.k.a. Fuel, announced a one-year $800,000 investment in Louisiana community and technical colleges to support the enhancement and expansion of energy-related programs in community colleges across the state. This investment is the first in an expected multi-year commitment by Fuel to create a scholarship program that will increase Louisiana's residents' access to high-wage, high-demand jobs in the state's growing energy sector. A gas leak along Bluebonnet near the Mall of Louisiana shut down traffic for 2 hours yesterday. The St. George Fire Department said around 11:45 a.m., the westbound lanes of Bluebonnet between 10 and Picardy had been blocked off due to a gas leak. They got the all clear from Delta Utilities around 1:45. Talked about this a lot last hour. SpaceX founder Elon Musk's private jet spent a few hours in Lafayette yesterday. This according to posts on Blue Sky. His plane left from Austin, Texas, landed in Lafayette around 2:30 p.m., and then took off shortly before 5 p.m. LSU legendary baseball coach and athletic director Skip Bertman passed away overnight, the early morning hours. Actually, there's a great write-up over at louisianasports.net if you wanted to check it out. Bertman was 88 years old, 5-time national champion, won the SEC 7 times, 18 seasons at the helm of LSU baseball. And anybody who ever had the chance to meet him knows what a beyond this world personality he was. What you got, Wilton?
All right, so 6 straight days of rain is causing flash flooding throughout Indiana. People have had to evacuate their homes, and so far, at least 1 death has been reported. That number is expected to climb.
Yeah, it's 6 straight days. So we're coming off the heels of the 10th anniversary of the 2016 flood. That was 4+ days, with a lot of saturation before the 4 days. But you just, you put yourself in. We have a regular listener over in the chat, over with the glorified crew in the chat. Alan is from Indiana, and he was saying earlier on in the show, it's Louisiana-like flooding up there right now. So we know what it looks like. We've seen it before, seen it many, many times, and they're going through it right now.
Yeah, our hearts go out to them because
our hearts and prayers for right now, for sure. Our Cajun Navy might be headed that way next week.
So Flock Safety says they are making changes to their license plate readers to make it harder for law enforcement to misuse the technology.
Okay.
I did a little bit of reading on this from the Associated Press right now. So I don't think it's actually changes to the device, the actual license plate reader, but it's more about the data entry and the accessing of that, the way that works. So I don't know if you had seen some of the cases of the law enforcement like abusing the system. It's things where like particular cops and police officers have been seen like it's been a documented thing that a few of them have used the license plate readers to like track down ex-girlfriends or things like that and see where they're driving around, and like they've pulled them over or they've had people pull them over. And so the way that the flock, and so they can basically like in their off hours still access the database and go and run as many searches as they want without cause or anything. So they can still access the cameras even, and drum something up.
So what Flock is changing is if you're going to access the data, you have to have your name on it.
It has to be tied to
like checking out a library book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be tied to an actual case number now. And it's change that probably should have been around in there from the beginning. And they're saying they're going to start flagging what's it called, let me see what the language they use. They're going to be flagging what's it called, concerning like search behavior, so out of abnormal search behavior whenever it's not like in the course of real law enforcement, if someone was going to abuse that system and track people down or do some type of stalking. So I guess that's positive, but crazy that that has to be done on there. We'll move along though. Hitting some local news, I suppose. The Jaden Daniels story is developing. Adding on to him not wanting anyone to wear his number 5 jersey number, he's also reached out to the university to get LSU's copy of his Heisman Trophy taken back as well. So,
so there's also reports out there from his camp, and that's the jersey number and the Heisman that's been reported through the news throughout yesterday and the day before. That is where it was yesterday, but we've seen reports in like later last night, whatever. There was never about the jersey number, never about the Heisman. It was about LSU profiting off. Grab the phone. It was about LSU profiting off of his name, image, and likeness, which you can't separate those two, because the popularity of Jaden Daniels has a heck of a lot to do with the school that he went to, the offense that he was in. The defense was garbage, but he won that Heisman wearing purple and gold. He won that Heisman because he was at LSU. If he stayed at Arizona State or had transferred somewhere else, there's no way to know. There's no way to walk down the hypothetical that would say he would have come out the other end with the same level of skill, the same level of fame, the same level of glory. And I mean, that's, a Heisman Trophy winner is a lot of glory. A 9-win football season, not so much. But LSU, look, let's be very clear about this too. Heismans don't just happen on the field. Universities put together campaigns to win Heisman's. LSU buys out ad space in Times Square, for crying out loud, to put Jaden's name on blast in the busiest block on the planet, right? That just doesn't happen. So I don't see where he's going to have a leg to stand on. And quite honestly, I'm so sick. I'm already so sick of the topic I could vomit. Tell you what, let's talk real LSU news. We got Dr. Wade Rousse on hold. Don't want to leave him sitting there. So let's take a quick break, come back. We'll talk in LSU next. I don't understand how he sorts his traffic. We have an accident on Scenic at Harding. So if you're driving in on I-10 westbound, you're going to find some delays by Bluebonnet. Well, there's two pieces of the city that have nothing to do with each other and are nowhere near each other. I only had one ear on it. Maybe I heard it wrong.
Stuff like that goes right over my head. It sounds stupid, but mine, that sense of navigation.
Well, no. Yeah.
I'm so bad.
Well, but also, your focus needs to be on the running of the show and not what's coming out of the mouth of the traffic guy. Freshmen move in this weekend. Football kicks off on September the 5th, provided we're still allowed to use days that have a 5. We've got LSU System President Dr. Wade Rousse on with us right now. How are you, sir? Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and time is short. I do, however, want to start off before we get to the upcoming semester and what we can expect and whatnot with your first full academic year headed this way. I do want to start off on the athletic front, though. Walk us through a little bit of the recent meetings and where we're at on the because I know the term private equity is being thrown out there all left and right, but that's not exactly what's to come. Walk us through the developments of the athletic front and where that's headed.
Thank you so much. It's not private equity, but we'll get to that in a second. But first, today, I think all of LSU Nation and our entire family is really saddened to learn about the passing of our legendary coach, Coach Bertman. I think about everything we're doing. Angela and I just finished our little morning devotion and prayed for Coach's family and our entire university system, our entire university family. When you truly talk about we're all LSU, and you talk about that LSU family, that brand stretches across the globe, and there are people mourning around this world. And just want to make sure we keep all this in perspective, and we keep Coach and his family in our thoughts and prayers as we move through a very, very difficult few days ahead of us. So I would start with that, and it kind of puts everything in perspective. And when I think about Coach, Coach truly transformed. As a kid that grew up in South Louisiana and studied every little tangent of strategy that brought this wonderful university to where it is today, the effect that Coach had on transforming LSU baseball through truly thinking about excellence is quite remarkable, and it's almost unbelievable when you think about how it parallels the current strategy that we're thinking about and how we're going to change the way we educate Louisiana through excellence and accessibility. It takes transformational change, and that's what Coach did in our baseball program, and you see where we are today because of that. So we're all a little saddened by that. I do draw some inspiration that I got to meet with him for his 88th birthday in a back room and just kind of sat down and talked about truly transformational change. So again, sad day. Thoughts and prayers are with his family and our entire LSU family that truly stretches around this globe. So going to the question that you asked is,
I'm sorry. Let me jump right in there. Yeah, I apologize. I had that in my notes for later on in the segment. You're 1,000% right to lead with it though, because I mean, it's just an absolute legend. When you talk about transformation, we're looking at like we're 40 plus years in to that transformation. I mean, you got to dial it all the way back to 1984, and like now LSU leads the nation in attendance in baseball every single year, and that's residual of what he did.
Right. Not only in attendance, but at least, I mean, if you look at the folks and the GPAs on those teams and the character of men that we build, and the idea that it was a culture that we were in the business of developing players to be good fathers and businessmen and so on and so forth. It was truly transformational change that we're trying to do throughout this entire university system when we talk about excellence and accessibility. And we keep saying that, talk is cheap. Coach talked a lot about metrics, and when we talk about how we're going to change the way we educate Louisiana, we talk about excellence and accessibility, and talk is cheap. Again, how we're going to measure that? When you hear excellence, you hear that we're going to measure excellence at the main campus and our research enterprise, which is why we restructured the entire system in terms of being a top 50 research institution. And we're going to have the standards that go along with being a top 50 research institution. We're not only going to try to beat Florida and Michigan in Tiger Stadium and on the football fields and on our athletic venues. We're going to beat them in terms of the research race, and we're going to bring innovation to the market that truly changes the living standards of Americans. And we're laser focused on measuring that excellence. Excuse me, I got another phone ringing here. We're laser focused on measuring that excellence on the enterprise, the research enterprise, by being a top 50. And we're laser focused on excellence with our regional campuses with placement rates and starting salaries. I mean, we're in the business to change lives. We got to get kids jobs. And we're going to have dynamic market driven curriculum, and we're going to measure that by placement rates and starting salaries. What is the market demanding? What kind of jobs do we need? Are we having a curriculum that's dynamic and able to move quick enough to get to that? And that's how we're going to hold ourselves accountable. And when we're not hitting those metrics, we're going to make the necessary changes that are often hard and sometimes make you unpopular. But if you think about that and we do the right thing, there's no reason we can't change the way we educate Louisiana. And there's no reason that we're ranked 48th in higher educational attainment, except for the fact that we haven't stayed focused. But we're going to stay focused on this regime.
Right.
So to get back to your question,
okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let's get back to that question later on. I love the path that you're on because there is monumental change on the way, and it's going to change statewide the way LSU is viewed. Well, worldwide, the way LSU is viewed, but statewide for, high school seniors, juniors, and seniors that are looking for college, it's going to change their perception of who, what, and when to apply for LSU, the way you're changing the entire system. So break it down for us, the restructuring. What does that look like?
Yeah, so when we got here, we kept saying, listen, we're in a, if you look at systematically, if you look at the structure of Louisiana versus Arizona, where I spent a decade, just to put this in perspective. So you go to Arizona and there's about 7 million people in Arizona. There's 2 higher education boards. There's basically 3 public universities. The smallest university is in Northern Arizona University. It's in Flagstaff. It's pretty similar to our A&M campus here in Baton Rouge. You come home, there's about 4.5 million people. There's 5 higher education boards, and there's 16 public universities. When you think about that structure and you think about how do you optimize dollars and yield outcomes that truly have an effect on our labor force that drives economic growth, that then improves the living standards for all Louisianians, we're at a suboptimal pace, and we've got to really think through how are we truly educating Louisiana. And look, that's not a popular. There's people that are on the other side that argue against me, and that's okay. We live in a wonderful country where we can have opposing viewpoints, but hopefully have intelligent conversation that pushes us towards the frontier of knowledge. And I think when we think about how we're educating Louisiana, we got to say being 48th in our educational attainment simply the outcome shows that we can get better.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard the story over and over, Brian, that the reason that we don't need post-high school credentials is because we have this vibrant workforce opportunities, which we are so endowed and so blessed to have such a diverse economy with deep water and forestry and petrochemical and all the things that make up our economy. We're so blessed. And I've heard that excuse over and over, and that's why we don't need a post-credential education. Well, when you think of post-high school credentialing, if you will, so when you think about if that's true, if you prescribe to that theory, then everybody should have a job. So if it's true that we're 48 in higher educational attainment because we have all of these blue-collar labor opportunities, which we do, but by definition, we should be ranked third in labor force participation rate if you believe that. Well, the truth is we rank 44th in labor force participation rate. So, one of the things that upset people that I say pretty often is everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but you don't get your own data.
Right.
And the data shows us that we got to get better. We got to rethink the way we educate Louisiana to have exactly what we're trying to do from a system level. We're trying to be excellent and accessible. And for far too long, just before I get off of this, far too long, people thought being excellent and being accessible were mutually exclusive, that you had to make that choice. Simply not true if you think about this systematically. If we really think about 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state, we're all LSU. And you think about we're going to be a top 50 research institution throughout the research enterprise. Well, if you're going to do that, the standards at the main campus are going to have to go up.
Yep.
Simple. But that does not mean we are reducing the accessibility of students like myself that grew up in Golden Meadow, Louisiana, that was a late bloomer. That doesn't mean that person doesn't have the ability to have access to a life-changing higher educational experience. What that may mean is that the pathway might be a little different. Hey, you don't have the standards coming out of high school. We're going to place you in one of these regional campuses. Here's 4 classes you take in the fall, 4 classes you take in the spring. If you're successful there and you want to transfer to the main campus, here's the path to do that. No questions asked. We can develop what I like to call a Common Core 24. Your first 24 credits are dramatically successful in being able to work towards the progression of a degree no matter where you are in LSU. And we're going to continue to do that and change the way we educate Louisiana because we're 3 colors. We're 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state. We're all LSU. And if we do that, we're going to win. We're going to win.
Well, it also grows regionally. Because LSU S, LSU A, LSU and O, and LSU E, you're funneling upward. It's like a reverse funnel. Funneling upward is going to help regionally as much as it helps here at the home base.
Absolutely. And Brian, what a lot of people don't realize, people have different sort of idiosyncratic preferences, if you will. So we have a lot of students that come to the main campus, and it's too big. The classrooms are too big. It's a little overwhelming. They're able to retrench back to sort of an Alexandria or a Eunice or a Shreveport or a New Orleans, and they find their place, and they're very, very happy. The idea that if we're very clear in, hey, this is what excellence looks like, this is what accessibility looks like, here are the clear pathways, we can get folks to what's the best path for them for a life-changing higher educational experience. The problem is when you don't define that.
Right.
You end up in some blurry gray place in the middle that no one really knows what you stand for or what you're doing. I've been giving this talk all over Louisiana, and I was in Alexandria, and a gentleman stood up and said, thank you so much. My daughter had a 30 on the ACT, never made a B in her life, went to the main campus. We all love LSU. We're purple and gold. We're 3 letters. We're 2 colors. We're 1 state. And she retrenched back to Alexandria. She is so happy being closer to home. She's thriving, and she's the biggest LSU fan there ever is. That's what we are. That's what our brand does. And I got to give Verge a little credit here. Verge has been successful in going to each one of our regional campuses and saying, hey, everybody, we got a student lottery for tickets, and we're going to give tickets to undergraduates at every camp. Now, they don't get very many, but if they win that lottery, they get to come to Tiger. There's only one Tiger Stadium. We're all LSU. They get to come to that game. But if they're not, they're having watch parties at every campus as we continue to elevate our brand and use athletics to elevate our brand.
Very cool.
We're all LSU. 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state. We're all LSU. And if we stay focused on that and we have the curriculum in place that is truly excellent, accessible. We'll change the way we educate Louisiana. We won't
right.
be ranked 48th in higher educational attainment.
Dr. Wade Rousse, our guest. Okay, so now let's get back over to the air quote private equity conversation. We got about five. Well, we can miss ABC News, but dive us back into that level of conversation, because everything you just said was important, and honestly is more important than the athletic conversation. But the athletic conversation is going to dominate headlines, and of course is important as well. So walk us back through the meetings and where we've come around to.
Yeah, Brian, very, very important, by the way. I don't think of those two things as an academic unit and as an athletic unit. I argue that we're one university, again, 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 shirt, we're all one, and athletics plays a big role in that. When you think about our total budget at the system level, it's $3.8 billion around the state, 20,000 employees. There's nothing that moves the state more than LSU. That's why we keep thinking about it. It's one entire LSU, but there's nothing, when you think about our total budget of $3.8 billion, our athletic budget throughout the entire system is about $300 million. So it's really, when you think about expenditure of it's really it's not that big of an expenditure piece, but it's the loud, most vocal. It drives our brand. I wear LSU all over this world, and people stop me constantly. They want to talk about what we're doing. They hear about our strategy of excellence and accessibility, and it's because of athletics. So you can't think of those two things independently. They work together. They're complements. And so when we think about our athletic department itself, and you think about athletics and the state that athletics is in the United States, basically around America, it's in the middle of a crisis. We've been very, very active in trying to get a bill across with Congress. We pointed that to the next side, the other side of the recess. We'll be very, very active in that again. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're very active in then, if you look at how quickly expenses are outpacing revenues in major athletic departments around the A4, is quite frightening. And LSU is not exempt from that. And we have found ourselves in sort of an unsustainable position, just like many other athletic departments. So we're having to really think creatively and work diligently to do what's best for our university, again, so that we can elevate our brand and create a life-changing higher educational experience. So we're laser focused on that. I'm not going to get into the details of the deal. I will tell you it's definitely not private equity. It is a way to restructure and generate some alternative revenue. But again, we're not in a position. There's a problem. We have a preliminary plan in place. When we get to the point to where the plan is finalized, if we get to the point where the plan is finalized and we get it across the finish line, there will be no one more excited than me to talk about the details of the plan. But right now, it would not be to LSU's advantage to talk about the details. So we're not going to do that. But I want your listeners to know that there's a problem. We've identified the problem. We think we've been very creative, aggressively innovative in trying to put together a preliminary solution to the problem. We're laser focused on getting that done. And if we can get it across the finish line, we will talk about every detail along the way that allows our athletic department to continue to thrive. And again, going back to what we said earlier, why is that so important? Because our athletic department drives our brand. And this is the reason we can attract a young lady from Baltimore to come down to Baton Rouge and get her undergraduate degree and go to Health Science Center in New Orleans and become a medical doctor and hopefully marry a Boudreaux and stay in Louisiana and help us drive this economy that we have in Louisiana. So athletics is the tip of the spear. So we've got to fix it, and we're working on a plan to do so.
We got a young lady from Baltimore to come down here. She leads the WNBA in rebounds.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now, okay, so you can't talk about the plan, but can we talk about at least, will there be opportunity for folks to buy in?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about those details there, but okay. There's going to be all kind of opportunities, and we'll make that known as we get further down the road. Again, I don't want to premature talk about something that's simply preliminary right now. We've got to get it inked out and then go from there.
That's fair. We're going to keep you for 2 more minutes if that's okay. And I know you got a busy weekend coming up, and the opening of campus is right on the back end. So within these last 2 minutes, let's pivot the focus towards this upcoming semester. Is anything going to look significantly different for returning students or incoming students now that it's your first full academic year at the helm?
Yeah, you're going to see a level of excitement that we're excited about again. And as we keep pushing towards we're all LSU, 3 letters, 2 fellows, 1 state. And you're going to hear that every day. Students are going to hear that. When I think about all our different campuses, we talk about Alexandria and Shreveport, and as we bring on LSU New Orleans, folks are really excited about the purple and gold. And I think you're going to hear a lot more of that. Even on our main campus, you're seeing a lot of changes in terms of what that looks like. Students, you're going to see our freshman class is going to be a little lower than what they were in the past as we strive towards being excellence, and we're driving towards a more standards that are really put in place and hold folks accountable. But one of the things that's wonderful about that is we've been able to get students to say, hey, look, didn't quite make it to the main campus, but here's an opportunity to go to LSU New Orleans that we're trying to bring in and holding them accountable financially to make sure they're adding value and driving to the overall financial sustainability of LSU, all of LSU. So I think you're going to see a lot of that this year as we really roll out clear pathways for accessibility. And you're going to see a lot of excitement as the entire state realizes that it doesn't matter. There's only one institution that truly ties Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Freeport, Eunice, all 64 parishes through our extension officers. There's only one institution that truly ties, every little region of this state together. And it's 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state. We're all LSU. And if we do that, we can really start getting into the argument side regarding funding and optimal funding, and how do we ultimately move us from being 48th in higher educational attainment. Let me just end with this. We're 48th in higher educational attainment. I probably said that 10 times. I'm hoping that resonates.
Yeah.
It's not something that we should be proud of. And again, we're 44th in labor force participation rate, which if I would have just gave you those 2 metrics as an economist, like if I tell you you're 48th in higher educational attainment, you're 44th in labor force participation. If I ask you, okay, where do you stand in terms of GDP growth? I mean, I would think most people would say, oh, you're right in the middle of there, around 46th. Well, you know where we're at in terms of GDP growth? We're 39th, which is unbelievable when you think about it, because there's 2 things that drive economic growth. That's labor and capital. And this administration, the governor, Susan Bourgeois, LED secretary, they're doing an amazing job of getting capital to locate in our state. Well, the pressure is on us. I mean, the pressure is on higher education to make sure the labor is prepared to meet that capital where it is, so it becomes sustainable growth. And then we get 5 or 6, 7, 8 years down the road, we're not worried about our kids. Angela and I don't have kids of our own. We say we have 70,000 of them, and we love all of them like they're our own. But we're not worried about them thinking they got to go find economic opportunity outside Louisiana. But we've got to get the higher education piece right. And if we get that right, the opportunity is here, and you're not worried about your kids or grandkids having to move off to look for economic opportunity. Those job opportunities will be here in our state.
He is Dr. Wade Rousse, first of many conversations on with us, because we got so much to cover with so much on the way. Thank you so much for carving out a couple minutes this morning. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Please keep coaching your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. Yeah, very well said to lead things off. We blew right past ABC News. I called it like at 7:20. I said, we're going to blow past ABC News a good 10 minutes before. Let's get to local news, traffic, weather. Patty G's next. No, he should be in the parking lot right now. Well, good. I'm glad we were along, because Patty G's not even here yet.
I was kind of going over my history stuff for the next segment, but can you explain to me like a little bit about what do you mean like by people are saying it's private equity and stuff like
private equity firms would throw a bunch of money on you at the front end and find a way to collect on the back end. Like, media revenues. We'll give you $100 million today if you give us 10% of your media revenues over the next decade.
They can do that?
If we agree to it.
Media revenues like from LSU football and stuff? common?
So if we agree to it, they can do whatever they want. Like whatever we agree to. That deal wasn't made. That deal was like tossed around as a possibility.
Why? Because LSU's like low on liquid cash, basically.
Low is a relative term. We're not low when compared to Ole Miss. We are low when compared to Texas and Texas A&M. So if we're going to fling money at $47 million rosters like we have this year, we could pull it off 1 year. We could pull it off 2. We can't pull it off over the course of 8 to 10 years because we don't have enough billionaires that are graduates. So Texas and Texas A&M do. They've got oil money out the ass. They can just throw money at whatever they want to. So
that's kind of just talking about the athletic departments, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been this way since school started, so I wasn't aware of how much earlier I usually.
Which way did you come in?
So I thought about coming down government, but then I was like, bad idea. So then I hit Florida. So I took Florida all the way. The trouble with Florida is there's like 100 lights between my house and here.
Yeah.
So I take Florida to the interstate here, and then I go onto the interstate and I come across that street right here.
Yeah.
Whatever the street is.
So, you're dropping off
Bus.
your bus.
Yeah, we're bus. We are the bus stop.
A couple things you need to understand. Okay. Christy handles that for LSU or for Mercy, but is in control of nothing. It is an EBR school bus. You are relying on public transportation. Shit's going to go wrong a lot.
Oh, it already has.
Yes. Yes.
First day it was a 7:35 pickup.
Okay.
Today it was 6:52.
Okay.
They told us 6:40 or 6:55, whatever it was. They told us it was a 6:45 pickup. Moving forward, so sure enough, everybody's parked out in front at like 6:43.
Yeah.
And we hear Charlotte. It's also trash day, so then Charlotte hears what sounds like a bus. Rush to get Quentin dressed and get him out the door, and then we're sitting there waiting for 10 minutes.
Just know that it's not going to get better.
They're like, we have till September to get things dialed in.
That's 2 more weeks.
That's what the bus driver told us.
Okay.
So, and the first day was just awful. It was 7:35 pickup. He got home at 4:30.
It's actually not that bad. The Terra bus wasn't the last one out. Yeah.
We all have a good time while we're sitting around waiting.
That's good. Where's the bus stop? Okay.
So, well, now she started coming to the corner and then making that turn instead of normally they would move to the stop.
I would take Goodwood all the way to Jefferson. Jefferson goes to government to get here.
Okay.
Jefferson to government to Foster to North Boulevard. Then you've only got one school zone the whole way through, and you've got an overpass, so there's no train to worry about.
Goodwood to Jefferson.
Yeah.
So you pass up Mercy.
No, that's Government Street. Stay on Goodwood through Old Goodwood.
All right, but you turn right on Jefferson and you dead into Government.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you turn left and then you take up north.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're super late. 741 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Dr. Wade Rousse. We got to like 3 of the 17 topics that I had to cover. If you were scoring at home, where did it go? 9 times. If you're scoring at home 9 times, he said 3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state.
That's it?
That's it. 9 times.
I thought it was.
No,
I thought it was at least a good dozen.
By the time we got to the 3rd one, I started keeping count.
Okay,
This
so then
guy,
a dozen.
and I say this with love.
Right.
Master marketer. I have nothing but positivity right now. As LSU is my school. It's where I went to school. Like, I have nothing but positivity for the future after everything I just heard right there. That was amazing. And we didn't cover anything. Well, we didn't get to the stuff that I really wanted to get to. Like, top 50 research university and what? Like, it just
what are we researching?
Right. What are we getting good at? You know, like in Office Space. What would you say
your job
you do here? Like, we didn't get to any of that. So but everything he covered was vitally important. It was a great first conversation, to be sure. So I got to get him on a lot.
What I loved about the marketing piece, a thing that stuck out to me and what he said was, we spend a lot of time on athletics. It's a 10% of our budget, roughly. Our annual budget is 10% of athletics. But what he mentioned with the breadth of athletics was that's what drives the brand forward.
Yes.
And that's what makes the brand attractive. It's just, it's like by default, it's a sports first, because that's what people know us for. And that's what makes people want to come to school here, because they want to be a part of the fan base and they love bleeding those 2 colors.
Yes. 3 letters.
3 letters, 2 colors, 1 state.
So watching a decade, specifically New Orleans, specifically LSU New Orleans, watching a decade where that school goes as a result of this mentality, as a result of this plan, because UNO was dying on the vine. Now watch what this injection does to bring students from the North Shore to go to UNO, because now they're at LSU. They're not in Baton Rouge, but they're at LSU. And the North Shore and the Houma Terrebonne area, Houma Thibodeau area, Nichols, Harvard on the Bayou.
Right.
But like, you are going to attract more students to those 2 colors than you would ever do to bring in for the old UNO.
Well, and I loved also how he was like, this may be home based, but we have ancillary campuses around the state that we're going to plug into and start promoting
And
within the same brand.
Stop thinking of them as the minor leagues.
Exactly.
Like, they're not a farm system. They're not a farm system.
They kind of are minor leagues.
But no, but yes and no at the same time. The way that Dr. Rousse just spelled it all out is like, you're on equal footing. You're just not at the age. And there's Chancellor Dalton was at the Rotary Club on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I am not going to get used to calling this the A&M campus.
Neither am I.
He did it. He did that right there.
He said it this morning. I said, we started out that way, right?
Sting. Yeah.
But I don't know if I can fully get behind. Maybe that's one of the marketing paths.
Well, because if you don't call it the A&M campus, you have to call it the flagship. And if you call it the flagship, then LSU S, LSU A, LSU E, LSU NO are all lesser than. What you're doing is you're putting them on equal footing but we got to find a third. We got to find a different name.
LSUBR? That doesn't sound as good, but I mean, anytime anyone says
tell me A&M, I know.
The first thing you think of is Texas A&M,
right? And we're dressed like a milkman and go to yell practice. I don't.
Exactly.
That's not what we do.
Like, that's just not us. But I mean, is that a way that we maybe have to shift our mindset because of how the university was originally founded as an A&M university, right?
Well, I mean, it was the old war school before that, but yeah.
What I'm saying, like, is he trying to play into some of the heritage there?
Yeah.
Of what the university was.
Well, and if you want to make the comparison, like, think of like Texas A&M, and I'm gonna go back to New Orleans, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Okay. You're gonna get all kinds of marine science there. LSU and O is on the lakefront. Like, when you go back to the question of research and what, how about that as a door to be
coastal erosion
kicked wide open? Well, not just that, not just coastal erosion, but everything in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, so
do they then just become, instead of your minor league view, do they then become, you go to that university's campus to study that specific field?
Yes.
You know, is it what field are we studying at?
Specialization is the key to a thriving economy.
Yeah. And marketing said special programs effectively and efficiently, and not having people stuck in the old mindset of what it used to be, rather what it is.
Yeah. Patrick Grimion's in the house, host of the Patty G Show, joins us about once a month. We actually had a completely different topic today.
We did, and it kind of bleeds together a little bit.
That's bleeds is an interesting word.
Careful, Brian.
I know. There's a big fight caught on camera in downtown Baton Rouge coming out of a nightclub at about 2:00 in the morning.
Yep.
And that's been making the rounds. I actually talked with Chief Morse about this on Tuesday.
Can we put it up? Can we watch it?
What? No. Well, we probably could. I'm not asking Wilton to do all that. But when you see something like that happen, every single instance of violence downtown comes to mind. And when something like that happens, it changes perception.
It does.
Because downtown, would you believe? So the question we're asking in this segment and the spill over into the next segment, because we're only going to have another 7 minutes, by the way, total, is downtown safe? So why don't you pick it up from there?
So not to fully unpack the whole video that people have probably seen by now of what happened in downtown Baton Rouge, but to use that as an example. When you think of safety, what does the safety, how does it define for you personally? Meaning, for most, when they think of downtown, they're either going to come here for an event, they're going to come here for a meal, they're going to come here for a specific purpose. They're not going to come around and wander, right? So which means they're going to have a couple of things that they're going to be interacting with. One, likely a parking space. They got to find a place to park, whether it's a garage or a lot, and then they're going to have to walk to wherever they're going because we don't have garden-style restaurants here where you can pull in, park, and then walk right into the door. So from a personal safety standpoint, if I'm thinking, is it safe? My thought is, if I walk by myself from point A to point B, am I going to feel safe? Now, when you look at what happened outside of the nightclub at 2 a.m, you have to think about what was really happening. Were passerbyers bringing drug into a situation and then they were at risk of injury? Or did we have a disagreement in the club between some people that then spilled out into the street that was quickly broken up? In the video, there was 4, 5, 6 officers ready and pulling people apart. So was it, from a safety standpoint, are we concerned about the overall public safety and seeing stuff like this?
Right.
Or are we worried about, if I walk from point A to point B, am I going to get thrown into this?
Okay, let me ask you this question, because first and foremost, it's 2:00 in the morning.
Well, yeah.
Let's keep that in mind. All right. You're not talking about day traffic. You're not talking about business people that are going to and from work, people going in and out of Mathers to catch lunch. You're not talking about that. You're talking about 2:00 in the morning.
Around when the bars are closing.
Right. That's part one. So you've already eliminated 85% of the population from even being involved in the conversation. Part two is, and I'm going to throw this out as we get to Your Money Now on the air. Part two is, if you're walking down the street and you see a fight, how easy is it to turn and go the other way? That's where we're going to pick it up. Here's Your Money Now on Talk 107.3 FM.
Maybe the Capitol campus?
Could be.
LSU
Capitol campus?
LSU's Capitol campus.
Thing like Maine. I mean, it's just like about the city.
Yeah.
About the city.
I think I would like to hear that better than LSU A&M.
A&M wouldn't bother me at all except for Texas A&M.
Well, that's the main.
They already use it. So.
Well, but also LSU and A&M is what we are, because we're a university first. Like, we have all the things. I feel like it trivializes every other department if you raise A&M up to where it's, this is the A&M campus. I don't.
Yeah, I would rather LSU Capitals campus. Yeah.
By the way, our A and our M are beyond compare. Our agricultural school, Matt Lee run things. He's beyond awesome. I love everything about it. Dr. Strain was in that seat yesterday we were talking about how we feed the world. The whole world. Anyway, since we're still on Facebook Live, how easy is it to cross the street?
Very easy.
Okay.
So I watched that video and was looking at what was happening, and you got to think about what led up to this scenario. Yeah. Somebody either mouthed off, messed with somebody's man,
right?
Made a comment, took a bottle. It was 2 individuals, or maybe a flock of them, that had an altercation. And then it spilled out because the nightclub was like, "You're not doing that in here. Get out of our building and take that wherever else you want to take it, not inside our store." So then they further pushed them off of the sidewalk, and they were in the middle of the street. Right. At which point in time, police did their job. After they sat there and kind of watched it a little bit, and they were like, what are y'all doing here? Like, they were literally looking at it like, this is so dumb for you to be doing this. But everybody on the sidewalk, nobody was freaking out, running crazy like there was a master on the loose.
Here's the follow-up question, though, is how does a bar fight turn into a discussion about public safety?
Yeah.
Like you've never gotten into a fight at Bogies?
And it was highlighted because it was in downtown.
Right.
How many nights in a semester are bouncers throwing kids out of Tigerland bars?
Right.
Because
right.
of the same thing.
And that's where we're going to turn it in the 4 minutes we have left on air. But like, it's a bar fight.
That's all it was.
I don't feel like downtown Baton Rouge is any less safe than like
other
areas of Baton Rouge. Probably more safe than a lot of the actual dangerous areas.
I'm going to rewind the clock back a couple years. Do y'all remember the name Nathan Millard?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay. You got to go back to oh man, how long ago was Nathan Millard?
Is that
2023?
Apple?
Do what?
Is that a MacBook?
No.
Or is that a Windows made to look like a MacBook?
I don't think it looks like a MacBook at all. It's a Dell, I thought.
I think the keyboard and the trackpad look almost identical to a MacBook.
Oh. Okay. 2023. February 22nd, 2023. Okay. Nathan Millard went missing in Baton Rouge. Okay. And this dude was
I remember this.
okay. He wandered around downtown drunk as a skunk, high as a paper kite. He walked up and down the streets. He was he at the maybe the Hampton Inn was where he was supposed to be staying or whatever. Anyway, he walks up Florida Boulevard past the Greyhound bus station. He walks around. He finds a pimp named Stanka because he's looking for cocaine and white hookers. He finds his cocaine and white hookers. He's eventually found wrapped up in a rug somewhere, dead. But like they taquitoed him like he was like rolled up in a rug. But and Stanko.
Oh yes, I remember the rug. I remember the rug.
This is yes, he ended up dead, and that's tragic. But he eventually got what he was looking for. But before he got what he was looking for, this man wandered around downtown, safe as in your mother's arms. He wandered around downtown, not a clue where he was in the world, and not a clue how to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
He's just walking around stupefied drunk.
And
he should have been, if downtown were dangerous, he would have been gutted like a fish before he got to the I-110.
The fact that he got past the Greyhound bus station,
right?
That's a pretty far walk.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to look at
from
what's
the Hampton
safe,
Inn,
if you want to look at what's safe and what's not, he made it hours on end before running to the Stanka and white hookers, and
going to his frame of mind is why ultimately his demise occurred.
7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. If you're not in the chat over on Facebook Live, you are missing out on everything right now. Patty G's in the house. We got to rewind it back to where we left off on air, though, because you see footage like that, right? You see footage like that, and you clutch your pearls and you say the very idea. How does a bar fight turn into a safety issue? Downtown is unbelievably safe statistically.
Statistically speaking, yes.
Yes.
And I've had many a times where I've had Patty G patio party.
Right.
We had it on Second Story, right?
Uh-huh.
Right above that bar.
Yeah.
Right above that club.
Right.
After the party, we walked, and I then chatted on a corner downtown for 45 minutes with somebody. And I wasn't turning my shoulders.
But like, this is a bar fight, and it looks scary. It looks scary on cell phone footage. But who hasn't seen a bar fight rolling out of Bogies or Fred's?
And when the bar fight rolled out into the street, was it 60 seconds, 90 seconds before a matter of 6 police officers rolled up and pulled the party apart? You know, it started in there from a disagreement of sorts and spilled out into the street. But if you look at the sidewalk, all the bystanders, all the people that would be walking up and down the street, they weren't sitting there fisticuffs with each other.
Right.
They were sitting there watching.
Right. Yeah, it's not a movie bar fight where
Right.
everybody fights.
Right, exactly. You don't have glasses being broken on people's heads,
Right.
bottles, people thrown through the window.
Right. This isn't the Three Amigos.
Yeah, it was a group of 4 to 6 women that had a disagreement inside the bar that were spilled out onto the street, and the cops broke it up appropriately.
And then but then how does that become a safety issue? That's my question. Is how do we lose track? We lose our way every time. We lose our minds every time. And that's the part that I can't get around understanding.
And I think it's because of how it was pushed and how it was promoted across the different outlets that people receive the video.
But nobody pushes back and says, "But what?" Someone will see the video.
That's the issue.
Someone will see the video, and the first comment in every comment section is be, "That's why I don't go downtown."
Oh, so you would be at 2:00 in the
Right.
morning having a disagreement with people and spilling out into the street? Because that's the
to
issue
see the
here.
exact same bar fight you would see anywhere else. Bar fights happen at bars.
Any bar.
Right.
At any bar, they're going to have a situation like that. They're going to spill out into the parking lot. So maybe it's not the street. So you're still on the establishment's property, and therefore it's their responsibility to some level, right?
Right.
But downtown, you just don't have that. You have a sidewalk and a street.
Right.
And it's not like they were sitting there vandalizing the cars parked right out in front of the club.
Right. So it brings us back around to stories like that will grow legs and go viral.
For sure.
But the fact that we have a police precinct downtown does not. Like they're manned, they're on the scene
Patrolling.
Right.
I've seen countless times, because I'm working there every day, countless times police officers on bikes, police officers just strolling around. Now, they had an article I would love to see a little bit more of, up on horseback. You see police officers on horseback, trouble immediately vanishes.
Why is that? It feels so ineffective in a downtown.
Animals.
The horses are beautiful animals.
When directed.
Okay, but I mean, it seems like a very inefficient model for a downtown scenario.
Until you get trampled by a police horse.
Also true.
It's a mindset at that point.
No, I get
But
it.
I think it goes back to the initial argument you were having about LSU. It's a marketing problem that we have about downtown. How are we marketing safety, and how are we marketing you can walk down the street?
Now we got a whole other topic to cover, and we got 30 seconds to go. But this goes back around to how Baton Rougeans, we are horrible storytellers about ourselves.
Yeah.
We gravitate towards the negative every single time. And we're about to redo the River Center. We're about to redo the face of downtown. And we're about to start selling the city to the world on a whole other level. And I don't think we're equipped to tell our story yet. He's Petty G, host of the Petty G. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Petty G Show. This ran short.
That's all good.
All right.
So that LSU deal is very interesting.
The private equity thing? That's not private equity. Kill mics, please. Yeah, I'm winded. I mean, 806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Wilton producing. Hour 2 was like nothing but unfinished conversations. That was phenomenal. Moved super duper fast, but my word, Dr. Wade Rousse joined us, Patty G joined us. We had 2 really, really ridiculously great conversations. Both will be available on demand at talk1073.com after the show is over today. Tell you what. By the way, let's rewind the clock back to the 6 o'clock hour. Rachel Fricke from Guaranty Health Solutions was pretty awesome in her own right. Before we get into hour 3, which we're going to have Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association on in our next segment, and the folks from Dearman's coming by for a little Foodie Friday. I want to just remind you about the Ascension Chamber Business Expo. It's coming up on August 27th, the largest gathering of businesses, organizations, and community leaders in Ascension Parish. Going to be doing not one, but I believe 2 shows from there. I'm going to be doing this show and then another show around lunchtime just to feature everything that's going to be going on at the Business Expo, everything that the Chamber's got cooking right now. So if you're looking to promote your business, Expo booths and sponsorship opportunities are still available. I mean, this is going to be a pretty great event going on at the Lamar Dixon Rev Center. The Expo Showcase, if you're buying a booth at the Expo Showcase, the showcase is free, which is going to make it easier to explore more than 100 exhibitors on the books right now, and whoever else is going to be added on. Whether you're attending, exhibiting, or sponsoring, the Business Expo is designed to help businesses grow, build relationships, and strengthen the local business economy. Learn more at the Ascension Chambers website. All right, we got to hit up this day in history. Let's go. All righty. Wilton, what you got?
Got plenty for you today on this day in history. It's August 14th. Let's see, going all the way back, the oldest thing I could find from August 14th. Did you know that King Duncan I of Scotland was killed in battle on this day in history?
King Duncan?
King Duncan killed by his
He's
rival.
the one that created Dunkin' Donuts?
No, he's the one that he was killed by Macbeth, Macbeth from the Shakespeare play.
Wait, that guy was real?
Macbeth was, yes.
I read that
and
book.
So was King Duncan, yeah.
Okay.
But fun fact for you, he was not murdered in his sleep as he was in the Shakespeare play. They were on the field of battle. It wasn't as much of a
that kind of changes it a little bit.
Intrigue, yeah. It was, let's see, moving along, we got let's get a little more into the contemporary historical period. American naturalist Henry David Thoreau. He was jailed for refusing to pay his taxes. Thoreau, best known for his book Walden, which he wrote over the course of a couple of years spent in a cabin that he built on the Walden Pond. And he's also famous for writing his essays, the most famous of which, Civil Disobedience, in which he argued that the individual has a responsibility to oppose government rather than acquiesce to perceived injustice. So there you go. They arrested him for not paying his taxes.
And that was all about COVID, right?
Right. Pretty much. So going ahead a little bit to 1900, they get the first electric tram going in the Netherlands. Pretty exciting. We need some more of those, man.
Well, electric trams?
Yes.
Okay.
I want walkable cities with transportation infrastructure in the United States. Speaking of transportation, going in 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indiana, also the home of the Indy 500, they hosted their first motorized event in 1909.
Okay.
It was a day full of motorcycle races.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore Monument was proposed on August 14th, 1925. And in 1935, the Social Security Act became law.
Ugh. Okay.
Going into staying on American history.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Sticking on some American history, the Appalachian Trail was formally completed in 1937.
Okay.
2,000 miles of trail and touching 14 U.S. states from Georgia to Maine. Probably the biggest one, I would say, in 1945.
Yep, there it is.
VJ Day, victory in Japan. The Japanese Empire gave the Allies their unconditional surrender, officially ending World War II.
Yep.
Let me see. 20 years after that, August 14th, 1965, Sonny and Cher's single "I Got You, Babe" hit #1 on the American charts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that.
And something I kind of like, 1983, the Ramones guitarist Johnny Ramone. He actually suffered a fractured skull from a kick to the head in a fight over a woman in Queens, New York. Yeah, he had to undergo brain surgery for that, actually.
Okay.
Sticking with rock and roll, the Foo Fighters made their television debut on The Late Show with David Letterman on this day in history. They performed "This Is a Call," one of my favorite Foo Fighters songs.
All right.
And in 1997, the Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh was sentenced to death.
Wow. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, the on the movie front, one of the best worst movies ever, "Can't Buy Me Love," came out on this day in 1987. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, one of the best worst movies ever.
It's a good movie.
I know, but it's terrible, but it's great. And on this day, you know what came out on this day in 2020?
No.
Ted Lasso was released today.
I did not know that.
Yeah. A lot of birthdays today.
I have some cool ones that I like to talk about. So Doc Holliday was born
No
in
kidding.
1851.
I didn't have that. That's awesome.
Steve Martin, born in 1945.
Mm-hmm. I did have that one.
1946, little guy by the name of Larry Graham Jr. It's not the most famous name or anything, but a lot of people would probably know his work. He's the bass guitar player for Sly and the Family Stone. He's hugely influential.
Very nice.
Yeah. Magic Johnson, born in 1959.
Yep.
1966, we got Halle Berry's birthday.
Yep.
In 1983, Mila Kunis and Spencer Pratt, who just ran for office in Los Angeles.
No kidding.
They share a birthday.
Fantastic.
And rounding out with Tim Tebow, born in 1987.
Awesome stuff. What about deaths? You got any deaths today?
Yeah, a couple worth note. In 1988, Enzo Ferrari passed away.
No way.
And today is also the anniversary of the death of Captain David Farragut. Or maybe not Captain, Admiral. The American Admiral David Farragut. Yeah, he died on this day in 1870. He's the one famous for saying, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead."
Okay.
Passed in 1870.
Famous baseball player Pee Wee Reese died on this day in 1999. What do we got for a national day?
It's a National Creamsicle Day.
That'll
with the
work.
Orange ice pops, but actually, I think there's a cooler one here as well. National Navajo Code Talkers Day, which I think is cooler.
Okay. Did you know that yesterday we missed this one, by the way, and it's so appropriate that we missed it. Yesterday was National Left-Handers Day.
No, I didn't know
And
that.
of course it got ignored because left-handers get ignored. That's just the way the world is.
Of course.
So I'll just sit here with pencil graphite all over my hands and be a left-hander and just realize that after the fact, I missed my day once again. 8:14 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association slated to join us in just a little bit. Do need to remind you about the Louisiana Department of Insurance bringing us out once again. We've been off a couple of years, but bringing us out once again to their annual conference. Going to be coming your way next Thursday morning. I'm going to be broadcasting live from New Orleans as we'll have the Department of Insurance's annual conference. We're going to be talking with folks up and down the ladder from every single field, whether you're talking about homeowners, car, life, health, or talking about everything with Tim Temple that we can cover. We'll be broadcasting live from the annual conference that is next Thursday during this show. Quick break. Tommy Faucheux is next. Oh. Yeah, I think so. Double check, please.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to confirm before we let's put you on the board. As soon as we get out of this break, Brian will put you on and get something.
President and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Industry Alliance. Louisiana you consider a career as an electrical or instrumentation technician in the right or a pipe fitter. These careers are in high demand and pay over $17 to $20 an hour for starting pay. Visit industrymakes.org. Industry Makes. Let others make noise. We make everything else.
It's also the anniversary of the Pennsylvania grand jury decision that the Catholic Church ignored all the abuse or covered it up, like participated in the cover up.
Damn.
I feel like squeezing that in at the back of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're Catholic, bro?
Very much so.
Yeah, I'm okay.
This report comes to you from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center.
Who's this guy?
Tommy Faucheux heads up the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association.
Louisiana what?
Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. (817) Talk 1073 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Foodie Friday coming up in just a little bit. We'll be having the good folks from Dearman's in the house for that. Doing burgers for this Foodie Friday, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Right now, we head back to the hotline. Tommy Faucheux, president of the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, is on with us. How are you, sir?
I'm good for Friday. So you're left-handed.
I am left-handed, yes, sir.
Me too.
Hey, well, welcome aboard. Yesterday was
Brilliant.
our day, but nobody told us.
No, a couple years ago during COVID, I actually had broke my hand and had surgery on Left-Handers Day. It was just made all the sense in the world.
Of course. Being left-handed is like being a middle child. It is. It's, go back to school. The desks weren't built for us.
Right.
If you were writing in a notebook, when I mentioned having the graphite from the pencil all over my hand, I know that probably triggered some emotions in you.
I was in that generation switching, the late 80s from chalkboards to marker boards, and it didn't help.
No,
nothing helped.
You erase it as you write, for sure.
That's right. Disappearing ink. But that's, I'm sure, what everybody in Baton Rouge wanted to hear.
No, that's what we're all tuned in for right now. Not at all tuned in for the fact that on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday, it was when it was announced at least, we saw another Gulf lease sale. I want to start with the details. Tell us about it, because I think there's going to be ripple effects here as well. So walk through this week's news.
Yeah, look, it was another big day. We went through those Biden years where, even though they were mandated in the 5-year plan, the administration was finding ways to not allow lease sales to happen. Fast forward now, in the last year, we have now had 3 lease sales, all of which were congressionally mandated by the One Big Beautiful Bill. These 3 are the first of 30 lease sales that Congress has now mandated that will take place between now and 2040, which is phenomenal for the industry. And they've named the lease sales Big Beautiful Gulf 1, 2, 3. So on Wednesday, we had a Big Beautiful Gulf 3, the third lease sale, as I said, since last December. Just to give you the numbers, because I think the numbers are outstanding. 69 bids, 69 bids, totaling $99 million, $82+ million in high bids. So those are the bids that ultimately get awarded, covering 330,150 acres of the Gulf of America. 12 companies participated in these bids, and it's really strong. And I'll give you in comparison. So the first of the Big Beautiful Gulf lease sales, which happened in December of last year, 2025, was really a sign of you had pent-up demand because there had been so few opportunities for the companies to bid. So, we're celebrating obviously 99 million in bids this time. In December of last year, you had 300 million. Wow. Because companies had just been waiting to get into the market. In March, when you had the second one, it was much lower because I think companies were being much more targeted. They had just, had a lease sale several months earlier. What we're seeing with the lease sale that happened on Wednesday in this, this 69 bids at, like I said, 99 million, is companies I think are hitting their stride. They're saying, okay, we're going to get back in a rhythm here and be to more regularly bid on space in the Gulf. And so I think what you're going to start seeing is these numbers average out. And, it's extremely important because these lease sales, we talk about, the dollar amount with the bids. Let's remember, whenever these companies are being awarded a space to explore and then ultimately drill for oil in the Gulf, they are creating economic opportunities for the people who live onshore in Louisiana.
We got Tommy Faucheux, president of the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Tommy, can we take kind of a deeper dive into maybe more of a tutorial? What
Sure.
is a lease sale? What does it do? So when you talk about there was $99 million, 99,476, 285, 82,689, 756 in high bids. So
Yep.
what does that cover? Like how many actual leases are within that? And what does that, what does those numbers actually mean?
Yes, I think this is a great question. If you think about the process, so companies obviously, right? They're geologists. They have a basic knowledge. They know what is available deep below the ocean surface, below the ocean floor. So when they come into these opportunities to bid, they then are basically saying, we want the opportunity to explore and possibly produce here. And so that is the first step. So you have to have the lease sale to give them the opportunity to bid. Once they're awarded that space in the Gulf from the federal government, then the business of actually getting down there and finding out for sure what is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, look, these companies are the best in the world at what they do. But it's, it's not a guarantee. Sometimes they do miss. Sometimes they have to explore different parts of whatever, square block they've been awarded. And so once they know that the resource is there and they've found it, then becomes the process of preparing for production. From the start of the process to the time you produce first oil, we usually say roughly is a 10-year process. And I think that's important to note because when you go through this, process of not knowing because of policy, politics, whether or not there will be predictable lease sales, you don't just turn this off and on like a light switch. It's a 10-year process. Companies have to be able to plan,
Mm-hmm.
budget, decide, do they want to spend, the capital? Do they want to hire the people that they're going to need for not, today, but for the next 10 years on a project and beyond? And so that 10-year process means we need predictable policy. And, you and I have talked about this so many times. We can't change directions every 2 or 4 years based on political cycles, based on who controls Congress or who controls the White House.
Mm-hmm.
I think what is great about what happened last year through the One Big Beautiful Bill is that Congress said, you know what, we're going to, and we're fortunate in Louisiana because this process was led by Speaker Johnson, Leader Scalise, and they said, we're going to make sure that we use the power of Congress to provide certainty and predictability for lease sales because we know that these companies, they're steering aircraft carriers, Brian. They can't turn these things on a dime.
Right.
Once they start down the road on a project, they're either going to go or not, and we need that predictability.
Who gets the 82 million or the 99 million? I said 82 in winning bids. Who gets the 82 million? Where does that money go?
The money goes to the federal government. And
Okay.
I mean, look, there's money that goes to the federal government, but of course, it's kind of like the Christmas tree of these projects. As these companies start to move forward, government receives money, the state receives money, the local communities receive money. Obviously, a lot of the royalties, that money comes back for coastal restoration in Louisiana, which we always are putting our eyes on because it's so particularly important along the coast. The economic benefits. I always talk about the 306,000 people in Louisiana who have jobs connected to energy. But if you go to the Bayou region, so think Faucheux, Terrebonne, St. Mary,
Right.
some of those parishes who are more intimately connected to the offshore region, 62,000 energy jobs in the Bayou region, almost $5 billion in earnings, $10 billion in value add. That region, those numbers come primarily because there is a consistent, predictable offshore industry.
Is this lease sale kind of an inkling that the future is headed in the right direction on this front? I mean, is this a sign of things to come?
I think it is. I mean, look, we have midterms coming up. We'll all be watching to see what happens in Congress. Obviously, the administration isn't going anywhere. There are still, 2+ years left in the second Trump administration. And, Congress right now, the White House are doing all the right things, I think, to continue to allow the industry to move forward. I think it's important that whatever policies are put in place this year, there's been a lot of talk about permitting reform, investment in infrastructure. All of those things are important for the future of the industry. And I think, look, we spoke, there was an event in New Orleans on Tuesday that Lamoga, Loga, GNO Inc., Noya, and others partnered to put on, celebrating the lease sale. And I spoke to the audience specifically about the community's collaborative impact in advocating for the industry. We make trips to Washington to talk about the importance of the offshore industry. We do it with our partners at Port Faucheux, that the other, coastal ports, to talk about the need for infrastructure investment, making sure that Port Faucheux's channels are dredged to the proper levels so that larger vessels can service the industry, making sure that we are continuing to construct new pipelines so that we can get the resources on shore. All of that happens because the community that benefits from the industry steps forward and says, hey, we want this. We want these jobs. We want the economic benefits. And we talked a lot about that on Tuesday. And I think it's important because that is also the effort that's going to make sure that Washington doesn't reverse course and take steps backwards in supporting offshore oil production.
Well, and I know, in economics, you talk about the concept of sunk costs, but you also talk about turning a big tanker. It doesn't happen on a dime either. But once these things are off and running and that decade-long process begins, the likelihood, the closer you get to the finish line, the less likely you're going to see it derail from the finish line.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. The trajectory is set early on, and we know that we are preparing kids now in middle school and high school for the jobs that they'll hold 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. We want to make sure that the work we're doing, it's all a step-by-step process. Policy that allows the activity to happen, that gives certainty to the industry, means that we can train an 8th grader today, start training an 8th grader today for a job that we know and they know and their parents know will be there for them if they follow that path 15, 20 years from now. It affects an entire community.
He's Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Always appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for hopping on board.
Have a great weekend, Brian.
You too. We'll see you next Friday, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you over in Lake Charles. Appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you, as always. 8:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are on time for news this hour. ABC News coming your way, then local news, traffic, weather, then Foodie Friday, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council's next. Over here, just in case there's anything to display. Oh. What's happening? All right? Hey, come on in. All right, so both y'all gonna be on mic? Yeah. Clayton was telling me Justin moved on.
Yeah. He went over with the to the Raoul's group. He's looking to move to the Lafayette location, or the not location yet. They're going to.
Okay, I didn't know Rouse was expanding like that.
Well, I think they're working on it, so I think he's kind of helping them do that. That's he said he's ready for a move and a change, and I'm like, all right, man.
I guess y'all had a good thing going.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
he's still one of my closest friends. So.
So both y'all gonna be on mic today?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Weston, what's your last name?
Williams.
Alliteration. W-E-S-T-I-N or O-N?
I-N.
Like the hotel.
Exactly like the hotel. You want me to just
Weston, that's Wilton. Casey, that's Wilton.
How you doing? Nice to meet you. Do you want me to just put in studio Dearman's on the little
Yeah.
tag?
All right, let's set this up for a decent picture here. Oh, and I might need to do a knife for when all the sales comes down. Just completely destroy and pillage.
That is a 100% beef hot dog.
Love that.
Yeah, beef council.
We had a guest a couple weeks ago brought hot dogs that I had to kind of lie.
Well, we were gonna south style that hot dog too, which we'll get into in a little bit, but we ran out of stuff.
Wilton, what's your phone number? I don't think I have you on my phone yet.
Yeah.
You what?
Or, I mean, at least I text you one time.
Is this new logo?
You what?
Is this a new logo?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a couple months old, but yeah, since the last time y'all been in, yeah. Yeah, so we got this design, and a lot of intricacy went into it. But if you back up and look, my wife did this, and I can't unsee it now. If you back up and look at it, or if you're seeing it on Facebook Live, she's like, "Why do you have a Jurassic Park logo?"
Hilarious.
You can't unsee it once it's up there. I'm like, damn it. Yep, I got you in here. Here we go. Boom. All right. There is the display picture for posting on the website. Go ahead. Oh, it already smells good.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Buying or selling your home, Mid-City Title makes it easy.
Last 3 times we went, I've completely forgotten it. The last time you were here, we were talking about y'all do a tuna melt.
Yeah.
Still haven't asked for it.
It's good.
I did the chicken sandwich. I won't do that again.
Yeah, the grilled chicken or the fried chicken?
Grilled.
Grilled chicken.
Yeah, I started it. I took a nap. I finished it. It's a big old chicken breast, and like the chicken breast was so big the bun fell apart. Like it was just massive. It's delicious, by the way.
Chevy trucks have the ability to rotate you smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes and several.
I have to knock out another live read before we get into it. I'm way behind today. It's been. We've had awesome conversations today, but when I have really, really good conversations, I get very irresponsible in my advertising.
Yeah.
And like the time that I'm supposed to be allotting for live read, for endorsement reads, I'm keeping in the conversation. And I had 4 different segments today run over the time they're supposed to. 2 of them were hard timed, and I still missed it. Hard time is something where we're contractually obligated to carry something like ABC News. I missed ABC News at the bottom of last hour. So at 7:30, where our contract says you will meet ABC News at 7:30 and 30 seconds, I didn't get out of the segment until 7:35. That's what the new president of LSU is. I mean, he was rolling.
Yeah. Some stuff talk show needed.
Yep.
ABC, you want this ad space? This is the info that they want too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's a stupid part of the contract because there's no commercial that they run there. So it's just a 60-second news update. 836 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, ticking up to 79 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Before we get you to Foodie Friday, I do need to remind you about the folks over at NeuroJust. You can learn more about them at neurojust.com. If you or someone you know and love is battling with anxiety or depression, and you've tried a number of different kinds of treatment, whether that's the sit-down, talk it out type therapy, or whether that's you've been prescribed the antidepressants, and you just don't like where you're at, give NeuroJust a look. You see it more and more on TV, especially with the antidepressants. They got pills to fix the pills now. Like, if your antidepressant isn't fully effective, take this pill to help the other. Get off that train. Give NeuroJust a call. They specialize in TMS therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation. It is FDA approved. It is non-invasive. I've sat through the process before. It is 100% painless. And the staff over at NeuroJust is here for you from start to finish. Learn more at neurojust.com. All right, it is time for Foodie Friday.
It's grilling season, Baton Rouge. So all summer long, we're celebrating beef on Foodie Friday, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Learn more about the health benefits of beef at beefeatswhat'sfordinner.com. Now, with tongs in hand, here's Brian Haldane.
Oh, one of my favorite times of the summer for this particular Foodie Friday, because when you're talking beef, you're talking burgers, and if you're talking burgers in Baton Rouge, I think it's kind of an understood. There is no more long-standing staple than Dearman's. Today we got Casey Evans and Weston Williams in from Dearman's. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. Welcome back.
Oh yeah. Thanks for having us back for sure, and obviously thanks to the Louisiana Beef Council. We bring the beef. That's our mainstay. Is the burgers at Dearman's. That's what we're known for. It's been around since 1958, so we're 68 years.
Okay.
Coming up on lucky number 70. So things are still going great. We're still rolling. Speaking of rolling, special surprise for y'all. Just announced it officially. We are rolling out our new concept, Dearman's South, which will be located at the patio at Brickyard South downtown on South Boulevard.
No kidding.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say at Brickyard South, what kind of hours of operation are we looking at here?
So we're starting off, I think we'll be closed Monday and Tuesday, but we'll be doing afternoons 4 till late.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, doing all that.
Noon till like midnight.
Okay, so we get it right up on that.
It'll be noon till midnight on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so Dearman's South going to be in working in tandem with Brickyard South. Love the idea. Love having you down here. Also love the fact that you're only going to be around for lunch for me one day a week, or otherwise things can get dangerous.
Look. That's how we're starting off. We're going to see how things go. But yeah, so for sure, lunch on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and evenings the rest of the week, closed on Monday, Tuesday.
All right.
So I guess to talk about a little bit more, were you about to have a question?
No, yeah, I was going to just follow up on that. Downtown, that's a big deal. That's another great lunch stop off downtown. Downtown burgers. I'm trying to think of the downtown burger scene. Y'all are going to move right in and take right over. That's
yeah, it'll be great, And so I think that'll be a strong starting point for us. And like I said, we're going to essentially move to lunch throughout the week as we grow and go in it. We still got to figure out because it's not the same, as our brick and mortar.
Right.
And it is actually a dormant food truck that Brickyard already had available. And that was kind of the genesis of it, is that it was just something that was sitting there. And I was like, hey, Brian, what if we did some pop-ups over here? He goes, what if you just took it over and popped up all the time? And I said, well, let me talk to some people about that. I don't think I got enough to manage on the other side, but let me talk to some other people. So my previous partner, Justin, and Wes both came in, and now Wes is going to be heading up the day-to-day operations at Dearman South.
Okay, well, that actually answers my next question. Is what's your role here, Wes?
Yeah, I was just a part-time employee at Dearman's and ended up being one of the owners of the next location.
Go back to you then, Casey. How important is that at Dearman's? Because y'all are a family establishment.
Yes.
And on all ends, on the back of house end to the customer end. That I'm bringing the Haldanes around regularly. Sure. So how important is that to promote from within? And while you could say, like, keep it within the air quote family.
Sure. So it's actually super important because there's a lot of things that we've always wanted to do, try, and explore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very important to keep Dearman's Diner classic and the thing that has made it last for 68 years.
Right.
So you don't want to go do a bunch of major changes to the thing. We introduced a couple new menu items here and there, different shakes of the season, things like that over there, but never really touching on the original recipe and what made it what it is.
Which we're going to get into as much as we can. We're going to get into that in a little bit because a big part of the genesis of Foodie Friday is to up your own foodie game. The people at the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, they celebrate this at beefitswhatsfordinner.com, beefitswhatsfordinner.com. You can hop on the website, check out recipes, little tips, little tricks, little hacks, up your game on your grill, up your game on your griddle. And beefitswhatsfordinner.com is your home base for that. So Casey's going to walk us through the bones of a burger, if you will. The start to finish making of. We're not going to, dive into anything proprietary, of course, but for those of us that like to make our own burgers, might pick up a little thing or two along the way. Before we get to that, though, in the off chance that anybody is listening that is not familiar with Dearman's, like unlikely, but in the off chance that anybody's listening that isn't, tell us a little bit about location, where you're at, and how you've evolved to what you are today.
Yeah, so the original Dearman's location is at 7633 Jefferson Highway, kind of the corner of where Jefferson, Old Hammond, and Corporate all meet, right there on the corner in the Bocage Village Shopping Center. Again, it's been there. It's been a staple of the community for almost 70 years. And we keep, what's important to us, obviously, the burgers, the shakes. That's like the classic food. But the fact that it has been a part of the community and it continues to be a part of the community, and that's where people raise, like you said, you bring your kids there. Mm-hmm. I started there in high school. Right. I have people that have brought their kids there, and now their kids are there, and working there. I've had, it's just as much about the community and like the friendliness and the hospitality as it is about the burgers.
Couple of things that I take note of every time. One of them is the burgers are not small. This isn't a smash burger place.
No, yeah, it's not a smash burger place. So yeah, we have a classic 6-ounce patty burger. We also have the double and a kid-sized burger for people who are not, trying to tackle a regular size burger. That's fine too. But yeah, it's a great size portion.
All right, let's walk us through a little bit of prep and process and whatnot. The Dearman's burger is made how?
So Dearman's is pure classic. Bun, burger, mayonnaise, mustard, lettuce, tomato, pickles, onions.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some extra add-ons, grilled onions, bacon, jalapenos you can get, but we keep it pure and simple there. Now I'm saying there because South is going to give us an opportunity to do some experimenting. Like I said before,
okay,
we're not going to touch on the classic. We're not going to change that over there. But at South, we are going to experiment.
Okay, experiment how?
So one of the things is we're going to introduce a South style whatever flavor, I guess, of the month, of the season, or whatever.
Okay.
And so Wes, if you want to walk through the first South style one you whipped up for today, I told Clayton we're gonna bring a surprise today.
Okay.
So our first South style topping.
So this first one, it's a house-made pepper jelly that I made myself, and then it's a Creole aioli with fried onions and some bacon and cheddar cheese on top of it.
Wait, okay, so Creole, are the fried onions in the Creole aioli, or are they all
separate?
Okay, yeah, because that was
so yeah, we got one right here. I know that those can't see that are on the radio, but we got some fried onions.
We have our Facebook Live camera right over there, so
we get some fried onions,
hey,
bacon.
Clayton, turn on that light, and Wilson, no, just hold it right up to the camera. Yeah, let them get a good first-hand look at it. Right, that is thick.
Yeah, so that's one of our kids' burgers. So that's going to be like the
that's
4
a
ounce.
kid's burger.
That's the 4 ounce.
Do you have kids with retractable jaws?
So that's the kid burger at Dearman's, which is actually going to be our main burger at South.
Okay.
So South is going to be slightly smaller portions, a little more bite on the go type of deal because and we just have a smaller location.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So everything is slightly smaller.
It's completely different in the sense that like you're stopping to get something on the go. You're not sitting down to a full-on dinner or a full-on lunch.
Yeah, there is a patio for guests and patrons, and then we are connected right to Brickyard's house, so you can go inside there as well. But yes, if for anybody on the go, they can stop at the truck and keep it moving.
Yeah.
And we do say food truck because it is a food truck, but it is immobile and it's staying there. it has seen its mobile days, and it is no longer that.
It is
So
a truck and text only.
it is a food truck shaped second location.
Excellent. Okay, let's go back to the topic. So you said you made the pepper jelly.
Yep.
How
made it.
difficult is it to make pepper jelly?
It's really not that hard. You just kind of saute some, or not, you sweat some peppers, and then you blend them up and put some sugar and some syrup and just
reduce it down. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Now the Creole aioli, what goes into that?
So that's going to be like a Creole mustard. So it's kind of like a Dijon, but it's more long grain mustard.
Okay.
And then you're going to put some like Worcestershire sauce in there and some other seasonings.
Okay. Combine those two, and then you said you're adding, was it fried onions? And then what was the last ingredient that you?
Cheddar cheese and bacon.
Okay. All right. So
you're gonna need a nap afterwards.
No, yeah, I know. Well, here's how it works: is like we'll walk up to on the air. It'll be Your Money Now. That's when we do the taste test on Facebook Live, and I'll stuff my fat face. And when we come back in, we'll give the full review along the way. Get back to Casey real quick and away from the specialty burger, but back to basics. When it comes to hamburgers, how important has it been to make sure you stay true to the recipe, true to the tried and true? There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, but when you do, awesome. But like, just Dearman's has always been that specialty.
Yeah, and then so I've been there 21 years now, or in December it'll be 21 years. You see that the mainstay of it all. You see that what people come expect, and the consistency. I mean, consistency is how people thrive in anything, you know. And so we get our beef ground every day from Calvin's in the Shame Shopping Center, fresh multiple times a day, and the power is in the beef, really, you know. And so there's not a lot of special proprietary stuff that we do there. We do legitimately keep a classic.
How far into the seasonings do you go? I mean, and I'm not asking you what's in the seasonings, but I mean, with a hamburger, you can go as simple as salt and pepper, or you could take it to another couple levels. How much do y'all put into it?
We actually don't very much. It's mostly in the meat blend that we use.
Really?
Yes.
See, and that's the beautiful part. Okay, I do have to ask this. What's the fat mix? You know, get like a 70, 75, 25?
So the base is an 80-20.
80-20?
Yeah,
okay.
and then we do some like steak trimmings and stuff blended in with it.
Oh, very, very nice. Steak trimmings. The fat's all the flavor, right? I mean, we all know that. The Louisiana Beef Industry Council bringing you Foodie Friday every single Friday. We got Dearman's in the house. We're walking it down to taking a taste test in just a little bit. All right, patty goes on griddle, right? What, 3 minutes aside, 2 minutes aside, or what are we looking at?
Oh no, it's probably about 5 minutes aside. Yeah.
5 minutes aside.
Roughly,
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of depends on you know, the heat disparity. When we got the 4 this morning, it was pretty quick. When you got 40 on there, it takes a little longer on each side.
No, I understood, but that's the difference between a smash burger and y'all's thick burger is the fact that, like, if you got the smash burger, it's just super quick.
Yeah. Those are like
y'all gotta
2
cook
minutes.
through a little bit.
Yeah, so we actually do a concession stand also, and that's kind of a little bit more those thinner patties that it's, you know, so we can churn them out for the
Here we go.
football games.
On air, here's Your Money Now. Quick break and then traffic on Facebook Live. It's taste test time. This is Foodie Friday on Talk 107.3. All right, let me dig in here so I can write down all my.
Now we get to see which one.
Moment of truth.
Here we go.
I know you're going straight from the specialty one.
Yeah, well, I'm starting with so the other ones are our class. We got the regular hamburger, the double cheeseburger, but I wanted to hit the specialty one first. We brought extras. So
How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Long time no see.
Likewise. Good to see you on this side.
Yeah.
Of it. That's awesome.
Oh. So the Creole aioli, which I'm a big Creole mustard guy.
Yep.
Creole mustard is not nearly celebrated enough. It's I was raised on it, but like it's Holy shit. Okay. No, wait. What am I placing here?
It's got a little bit of a kick in there.
Is that pepper jelly?
Yeah.
Yes, the peppers. Some pepper jellies are just.
It's got a
pepper.
it's got a habanero in there. Yeah, I smoked them first.
Okay. That's what pops first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pepper jellies. I know you're the aioli guy, but I was telling him, I said I think the pepper jellies is the star of this show.
It is. No, yeah, big time. Okay.
One bite. You got it.
Yeah, I had 3 of them yesterday. They were that good.
Yeah, I'm watching the LBs, and I had my taste test on that. Then we had to taste test on a fried chicken sandwich. Then we had to taste test it on a hot dog. So
so you can get this same.
It took a lot of my lunch away from me.
So you can get this same style on a hot dog, chicken sandwich, fried chicken sandwich. You want it on your French fries? Like we'll put it on there.
Yeah. So that's what's kind of be the South style, kind of mix and match thing. Is that like, we can start doing some more experimental stuff down there where we can use our classics and still have some fun. It's kind of really how I've been describing it. Not that OG Dearman's isn't fun.
Did y'all get in on the best burger in BR thing?
We Rhett. Yeah. We're on. I think we were on this list somewhere. Yeah. I mean, we make most of the list. Just depends where you place us. Best burgers in
He was actually my old youth pastor in high school.
Really?
That was yeah.
You got that has to be worth.
Yeah. I got some sway. I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Pump me up. Well, yeah. So Dearman South is gonna have to be its own category next year. We'll have to go head to head with Dearman's Diner versus Dearman South.
Oh, wow. We got to get Dearman South on its own Google page.
We're working on the Google page because since it is located at Brickyard, we do kind of have to do. I think you have to do like some extra steps so Google doesn't get confused. Yeah.
It's the same address.
Yeah, it's the same address. So yeah, that's in the process. But so we got that. But we got the Instagram and Facebook page live. So both those are going. But yeah, the Google page is still under work.
Yeah, Google likes to take its time.
Yeah, and I've seen some issues with that before, but somebody smarter than me said, "No, I got it." So, you got it, Joe.
Yeah, because if someone's going to hear this, they might want to see. When I type in Dearman South, it goes to the normal Dearman's.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So
Yeah.
listening to this, they type it in.
What is 174 South Boulevard?
Yes.
The story behind LSU sports. Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 traffic.
Now I still got to come up with a name for this burger. So if you got any ideas.
Not yet, but yeah.
Think about it all weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a Southwest style. Is that's the what we have right now?
I think my favorite one was Southbound, but that no one seemed to like that, or no one seems to agree with me. But what was some sweet
Hot Mess, Afterburner, Heat Wave.
It's not a mess though. Like hot. There's
very
heat.
messy. Yeah.
There's heat. Heat Wave is good. You get like 3 different pops of flavor.
That's why I didn't want to lean too much on the heat. That's why I was saying like sweet heat, because I was like, because we probably will have like
sweet heat.
We probably will have a spicier
And the
burger,
crispy onions are a master stroke. Once everything's been processed.
Yep.
And so I caught that on the second bite. $8:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Foodie Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef bringing you protein, bringing you iron, bringing you 10 vitamins and nutrients, fueling your body through all stages of life. Learn more at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. All right. I got to bite in on the, as yet to be named new burger for Dearman's South. Wes, let's get you back in here. The first thing that pops, if you've got bacon on something, you expect to taste bacon first, right? That is going to always, bacon doesn't sneak into a room. Bacon kicks the door in. The smoky peppers, it's just a touch of smokiness with it. What kind of peppers are they? Because there's a sweetness to something in here too.
Yeah, so it's mostly bell peppers, red bell peppers. There's jalapenos, and then there's a little bit of habanero.
Okay, because there's a sweetness somewhere in there. Obviously, the sweetness isn't from the habanero, but the smokiness of the pepper is the first thing that you taste. Then comes in the bacon, and then comes in that Creole aioli as well, and then like all the rest of the heat that would come from the jalapeno and the habanero on the back end. Not lost in the mix here is the cheese in the burger itself. They are, I mean, it's not the first thing you're going to process once you bite in, but it does come back around on the back end, and it's always, the flavor of beef is just so reliable, and just it's a memory trigger and everything else. So all in, what a perfect combination. And oh, by the way, the crispy onions mixed in there, masterstroke, because it adds a different level of texture, and just when you have a little bit of crunch to the bite right there. I mean, you can toast the bun or whatever for that. This is so much of a better idea to have that little just enough within there, making for an absolutely perfect combination. So you were telling me during the break we don't have a name yet.
No, we don't have a name yet. We have some couple options, but we're still trying to find something out.
Well, it's got to wrap around the fact that there is heat and there is sweet, and not necessarily it is in that order.
Yeah.
But between that, you don't want to lose the smoky either. This is going to be available at Dearman South over at Brickyard South. When are we rolling with this?
So grand opening is August 29th.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
right around
so
the corner. Yeah.
Before the month is out.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe there might be some tie in there as well. I don't know. We'll see. But August 29th, Dearman South will be open. Meanwhile, back at the home base, business as usual.
Business as usual. Things are going great. We are continuing. I mean, summer's coming to a close, which is our busiest time of the year besides the holidays. So this is kind of our somewhat of a recuperation time, but it's been pretty busy still. So things are crunching over there. Our catering, which we launched either earlier this year or last year, it's going great. We've also partnered in Ascension with a school out there. We're doing concessions there, so we do burgers, hot dogs, meat pies, and then their regular snacks at Ascension Christian and out in Ascension.
Give me a quick second on the hot dog, because it is. I mean, this is Beef Industry Council.
Yeah.
It's an all beef hot dog.
All beef hot dog. It's always been an all beef hot dog. Yeah.
It's you can never go wrong with a hot dog.
It's
Y'all
delicious.
split
Our
and
dogs are
griddle.
great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Split and griddle brings out all the flavor from inside to the outside. And anything new on the shakes front? I know it's the Beef Industry Council, but I mean, it's Dearman's. You're getting shakes before you go.
So no, we've been kind of playing with the dirty soda trend this summer.
Okay.
And we'll probably have some sort of mainstay of that. We were just running as a summer special, but now we'll probably kind of have some like make your own soda dirty. We're still playing with it a little bit, and that will just add some cream or some syrup. But our shake of the seasons will kick back off again this fall once we clear the summer.
Can I still get my nectar malt?
Nectar malt is still high priority. I always push the nectar. That's one of my favorite. Maybe we can't
Underrated.
Yeah.
So underrated.
It's a gem.
Absolutely. All right. If folks want to get in touch with you for catering, where do they go?
Dearmans.com/catering. Our email address is catering@dearmansdiner.com.
And then, of course, Dearman's, you know where they're at Old Hammond and Jefferson, right there at Bocage. And I love that y'all keep it real, keeping it in-house, going to Calvin's for your meat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a level of partnership and community, and once again, family that you get from Dearman's. We got to get out of here, y'all. Casey, Weston, thank y'all so much for a couple minutes.
For having us.
Y'all go see him for Dearman's. Bring the whole family. We're out. Moon Griffon's next. We'll see you Monday. All right, Facebook. This is like a legit explosion of everything. I could talk traditional burger all day long and then just have my pants blown off with something like this. It just, to be able to make it pair with the burger itself and not lose the burger and all the flesh, like that's unreal. So y'all go check them out once the South is open up. We'll see y'all later.